Yo, this is Set with Set Media, man. I'm here to talk to you about our partner, Kalshi. Kalshi is the largest legal prediction market in the United States with over 1 million users. It's available in all 50 states. They are a real money market, people trading on what they think will happen. You can build a position and trade in and out of almost any prediction you think. Kalshi facilitates trade between people kind of like the stock market. There's no limiting your trades just because you're winning. Kalshi will pay you interest on your position. So if you make a long-term trade, you can earn a return even before the market is resolved. If you want to try out Kalshi, go ahead and give them a try, guys, at my link, kalshi.com/setmedia. Get $20 when you trade 20, so it's 20 for 20, guys. Once again, that's kalshi.com/setmedia. Go ahead and use my code setmedia to get $20 when you trade 20. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Kalshi, because like I said, it is a trading market where you can put in your prediction and you can go ahead and earn interest on that. You can make money off the knowledge that you know, and if you put $20 in, you get $20 back. So all right, guys, make sure to go check out my guy at Kalshi, because you can get in on good trades like who will Trump nominate as Fed chair, will Ali Khamenei be outed as the supreme leader, and will the U.S. confirm that aliens exist before 2027. So if you want to get in on this action, once again, go ahead and go to my partners at Kalshi. Go ahead and use the link, or you can hit the QR code above and use Set Media to go ahead and get $20 when you trade 20. This is Set from Set Media, and shout out to Kalshi. All right, guys, and let's get right into it because we are live. Yo, this is Set with Set Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, guys, we're about to get into this. Well, in Trump interview on Fox News, he did a Fox News interview with the Five, came out about 8 hours ago. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. Let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video.
Phone live. Hey, Mr. P, it's your favorite talk show host. How you doing?
Well, that's true. That's true. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's always good to hear your voice.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations on beating all of those frauds that try to compete with you at a certain time of the evening. You're a little earlier, but I will tell you, the numbers are incredible. Your numbers and their numbers are incredibly bad.
Yes.
And they deserve it. They have no talent, but congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we all have a bunch of questions. I'm sure we'll get to one of them.
Okay.
I want to ask you, like, how do you deal with people who might be disappointed because they voted, let's say they voted for you on the assumption of no wars, and then this happens and it's inconsistent with their wishes? What would you say to them?
Well, I have to do something in terms of making America great and keeping America great. And when you have lunatics with nuclear weapons, and the power is beyond belief, I will tell you.
But here's the problem. Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. And like I said, it is about making America great again. Well, this war is, hurting Americans. So, like I said, this does seem like we're walking backwards on the whole Make America Great Again initiative.
As a president, I get to see it. My uncle was a great professor at MIT, and he knew more about nuclear at the time than anybody. He told me stories that were horrible in terms of the power, both beautiful in terms of putting it to good use, but really bad for destruction purposes. And his statements from years ago were, he really got it. He really got it. He was a highly respected man. He was there for 41 years at MIT as a great professor, and he told me about a thing called nuclear, and at the time nobody knew too much about it, and he said exactly what it was all about. And you can't let a madman, or you can't let a mad ideology have a nuclear weapon. And we hit, as you know, we hit 50,000 in the Dow. Everyone said it would be impossible in 4 years. I hit it in my first year. We hit 7,000 in the S&P, and everyone said that would be even more impossible. We hit it in my first year. And I said, we have to take a little bit of a detour. We have to take a little journey to a place called Iran, where these mad people were going to have a nuclear weapon, and they could do tremendous damage not only to the Middle East and Israel, but also to our country, because we would be next. And I said, we're going to take a little detour, and we're going to go and we're going to knock them out. And that's what we've done. We have the greatest military.
Here's the thing, though. Like I said, everybody thought this was going to be short. We're going to go there, knock them out, but we're still in it. I mean, we're trying to stabilize gas prices, but gas prices are still on the rise. So, like I said, they're hitting us with we got to deal with the short-term pain for long-term gain. But how long do y'all consider short term? Because as soon as we get out of this, we can get to that gaining part. And if you're telling us 2-3 months is short term, I mean, come on now, you guys are gonna cook yourselves for the midterms.
In the world, and it started with the B-2 bombers, which made it impossible for them to do the nuclear. They would have had, if we didn't hit them.
Do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support, by the way, and shout out to the viewers on YouTube and Facebook. But make sure y'all like the video. Appreciate the support.
With the B-2 bombers like 8 months ago, if we didn't do that, they would have right now a nuclear weapon, and they would have used it by this time. And it also happened with Barack Hussein Obama, if you've ever heard of him. Barack Hussein Obama, terrible president, absolutely a divider and a terrible president. And when he did the Iran nuclear deal, he gave them a path to a nuclear weapon within a short period of time. They would have had a nuclear weapon a few years ago, and they would have used it on Israel. They would have used it on the Middle East. And you saw that when this all started. They had no tremendous problem with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And you take a look, and UAE, Kuwait, Oman, they had no problem with them. They were doing fine, and yet they hit them with, in the case of UAE, 1,400 missiles, ballistic missiles. And what they were going to do is they were going to hit the Middle East, and they would have hit it with nuclear if they had it, because they're stone cold crazy. So in order to keep our country great, I said, we're going to take a fairly short detour. We're going to show everybody that there's nobody even coming close to us militarily. Nobody even comes close. We have the greatest weapons. We have the strongest military. And I rebuilt it. I built and rebuilt our military in my first term. And I got to use it a little bit more than I would have liked to be able, because we had Venezuela, and now we have this. But we're going to keep our country safe. You can't let this happen to us.
But the difference between this and Venezuela, and let's just keep it real, guys, there's a difference. When we hit Venezuela, we got immediate results through pretty much the seizing of their oil. When we hit Iran, bro, we got immediate results by the increasing of gas prices and, of course, the downturn of the market for the first week of it. Now the markets are somewhat recovering, but gas prices aren't recovering fast enough. And actually, there's still a situation with Iran pretty much holding hostage the Strait of Hormuz.
Or, frankly, anybody else in the world. We're doing a big service to the world.
Mr. President, Kayleigh McEnany here. I do want to ask you about the breaking news. You just put out on Truth Social that you will be pausing energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, because the negotiations are going very well. I would never ask you to reveal to the public specifics, but could you broadly characterize where we are at?
Well, the Iranians asked me to do that, and I was not happy with them, because I made a statement that we're having productive negotiations. I don't know that they get there. Maybe they do. Maybe they won't. I mean, look, in a certain sense, we've already won, because we've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force, completely knocked out their Air Force, just about completely knocked out. We knocked out 154 ships, and pretty good ships. In fact, I said, why don't we just take them instead of sinking them? We could have used them ourselves, right? But they like showing how tough they are. They like them at the bottom of the sea, probably a little bit better. But think of it. We knocked out their Navy. We knocked out their Air Force. We knocked out most of their missiles. They're down to about 9%. We knocked out their missile launchers, which is a big deal, because without the missile launchers, the missiles don't do very well. You can't go to your window and say, let's throw a missile out of the air. And we knocked out all of their communications, their telecommunications, and very importantly, we knocked out their anti-aircraft apparatus, which was very good, but it didn't last long, because we hit it the second night, and we're just free flying right over the middle of Tehran, do whatever we want. And one other thing we knocked out was their leaders. So we knocked out the supreme leader, as they called him, Khomeini. We then knocked out They then named another one. We knocked them out, and we knocked out part of the third group.
But here's the problem with knocking those guys out. We pretty much knocked out the moderates that we actually need to negotiate with. And the moderates have now been replaced with honestly, the worst of the hardliners. Like the new Ayatollah, yeah, he's real cool with the IRGC. Oh, yeah, and they're pretty much their new, what was it? Their new Secretary of Defense. Yeah, I'm be real with you, that he's an ex-IRGC commander. So we got some hardline guys that are now in leadership, and those are the guys that are most likely is not even probably want to talk to us. Let's hope that's not the case, but that is the situation. Is we've been pretty much bombed all the moderates,
and we're just holding for the rest. We know where they all are, and it's one country that does not want to be. You have very few people want to be the leader. You know, everyone wants to be president of the United States. Everyone wants to be president or whatever, prime minister of a certain country. There are not a lot of takers to be the head of Iran right now. I will tell you, they're all fighting not to. We don't want that position. But they asked me if they would, Kaylee, importantly, they said to me very nicely through my people, could we have more time? Because we're talking about tomorrow night, which is pretty quick. And if they don't do what they have to do, I will knock out their power plants. And he said, does that include nuclear? Because they have nuclear, plenty of money. They have a lot of money, and they built nuclear and they built regular power plants, but they're massive and very expensive, billions of dollars. And so I gave them a 10-day period. They asked for 7. You're going to say, oh, Trump's a terrible negotiator. They asked for 7, and I said, I'm going to give you 10 because they gave me ships. We talked about the 8 ships, the president that I talked about the other day. But they asked for 7, and I gave them 10. You got 10 days, and they were very thankful about that. Now, they may say, oh, we're not speaking. I don't like that because that wasn't true the last time, as you found out. But
yeah, like I said, there's still confusion going on when it comes to talks. Now, Trump is saying that Iran let through 8 ships through the Strait of Hormuz, and, that's what he's saying by, well, they gave us a gift. Well, and the gift was oil, apparently. But Iran is still pretty much saying, like, bro, who are you negotiating with, yourself? So there's still that going on. So, like I said, Iran is saying something completely different than what the president's saying. And we'll see what comes. We'll see who's right comes the 6. Apparently, since they're holding off until then. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I doubt that. Like, when has Donald Trump ever waited the full term that he gives people? Like, when? No, name one time.
We are speaking, and it's going fairly well. And so I gave him 10 days.
Well, that was nice of you. Very generous, Mr. President. It's Kennedy.
I am.
Yeah. So you talk about some of the people in Iran who are left in the regime. They don't want to be the supreme leader because they know it's probably a short-term position. There are a lot of Democrats in this country who would like to be president. They would like to succeed you, and they are using this war as a battering ram. People like Seth Moulton, who ran in 2024, he is saying 2020, he's saying you are losing this war. And my question for you, in terms of people who may be giving you pushback on the Democrat side, and even some within your own party, what does winning this war look like?
Please.
Well, we've already won the war. Militarily, we've totally won the war.
Then what are we doing there then? Then withdraw the troops. Why? Or I'm sorry. But how are we winning a war where we're sending more troops into? Like, when you say, yeah, we won the war, that means the war has been concluded. We took the dub. Now let's go home. And I'm cool with that. But if you're sending more troops in, then I'm like, come on now. Like, your actions is not leading up to what you're saying. It is not matching. And it looks kind of weird. You're trying to say that, oh, well, we won this war that we're sending more troops into. Like, what?
We even knocked out all their they call them mine droppers. They drop. How'd you like to have a country that has 22 ships that do nothing but drop mines in the water? You're off to a bad start when you hear that. Now, a guy like Moulton, I don't know who he is. I don't think I have him.
Yeah, Iran did commit to a suicide mission in the Strait of Hormuz to, mine the Strait of Hormuz. And they pretty much sent like 24 speedboats out there to start pushing off the mines by hand, into the Strait of Hormuz.
Madam, but he's a loser. I mean, I watch him on television. He's a total loser. And they use this, I watch poor Chuck. I mean, Chuck Schumer is a great Palestinian, represents the Palestinian nation right now. He's no longer Jewish, I guess. What he's done to the Jewish people is incredible. They hate him. But remember this. They are good at one thing, sticking together. They have horrible policy, and they lie. And, you know, they did everything they could to beat me. I won 3 times. Unfortunately, the election was rigged the second time, and everybody knows it. And now all the proof is coming out. It's coming out loud and clear. We won by millions of votes a second time. But
you know, so funny though, the Democrats, there's all the criticism in the world that they have, but they are really doing nothing to stop it. I'll be honest with you. Actually, like, Democrats are literally criticizing like out loud, but behind closed doors, they literally support this war. I mean, shoot, we're talking about the same party that won a war with Russia. I guess they didn't really care. But to be quite honest with you, yes, like, Democrat politicians, they say one thing out loud, but behind closed doors, they're like, thank God he's attacking Iran. Shout out. But let's be real. They got to save face in front of the media and be like, look what he's doing. He's going to F up America. Wink.
I don't talk about it. I go on to let's do it again. You know, if I didn't think I won the second time, I knew I won by a lot. I wouldn't have run the third time because, you know, that's like the ultimate poll. But I knew how well we did the second time. But the third time we made it too big to rig. So for those people that say the level of popularity, CNN, your friends at CNN, fake news CNN, one of the worst networks you'll ever see.
Okay, do me a favor and double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen and liking the video. And depending on how you're watching, just smash the like button if you watch on the horizontal. All right, guys, let's get back into it. Oh, and any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, just go ahead and super chat it in, or you can go ahead and Venmo it in.
Say one of the most dishonest, disgusting groups of people. But what happened is they did a poll, and the poll came out yesterday or day before. And is Trump losing MAGA support? The poll was 100%.
Trump.
And you know they're...
Bro, it's like Trump, though. You can't believe that. Really? 100% of MAGA? Like, I would understand if he believed it if it was at like 95, but 100%. And like I said, it's like pretty much saying, F me. I guess I just don't exist no more. But hey, like, come on now. I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, bro, if anybody agrees with 100% on anything, this is a cult mentality at this point. There got to be dissenters, there got to be disagreeers, or I'm gonna be honest with you, it is just looking like we're all just going along with whatever Trump says or does. And let's be real, like, no, I'm not going along with this war. I don't like it. I would like it to end today, preferably, but I'm giving to the end of the month.
Pollster, he's got a lot of energy and he's pretty good. He probably won't have a job very long, but he said, whoa. It was 100% of the people, the MAGA people, and which is mostly, I think MAGA is almost the whole Republican Party. You want to know the truth? Almost everybody endorsed wins. Almost every single person that I endorse wins. And Kaylee knows that better than anybody. She was witness to it for a long time. Mm-hmm. And she's doing a good job, by the way. But almost everybody. So they did a poll at CNN 2 days ago. And I think you probably saw it. Maybe you put it on, but it was 100% support. So it's wrong. We have people that are weak or stupid or low IQ people that don't mind having Iran have a nuclear weapon. The MAGA people are smart.
Here's a problem, though, and this is crazy because our intelligence, CIA intelligence, has been telling us for years that Iran is not going towards a nuclear weapon. Like, and that's just the fact of the matter. The IAEA say it, the CIA say it. But so it's kind of crazy when the Mossad walks into the room, all of a sudden, oh, yes, Iran is 2 weeks away from a bomb. And I'm just like, how much times have we heard that? 2 weeks away from a bomb. Like, and then y'all just going to repeat the same thing that Bibi told us years ago? And we're just going to go for it again? Like, come on now. At a certain point, we got to learn our lesson. But just to make fun of the situation, I got a funny little video for you guys, right? A movie's coming out. Let's get into it. It's going to be a good one. Enjoy.
Sir, they're about to go nuclear. How long do we have? They're 2 weeks away. How 2 weeks away are they? Even more 2 weeks away than they were 5 years ago. My God! That's dangerous levels of 2 weeks away. I know. Son, if anything happens to me, continue my work. We're only 2 weeks away. I will continue. Sherlock. Now I'll go to where no one can find me.
For just 2 weeks.
My office on the 3rd floor, right by that really big window.
Vengeance!
Sir, if we attack, they will close the Strait of Hormuz. They don't have the balls to close the Strait of Hormuz. They just closed the Strait of Hormuz. And oil is now over $100 a barrel. Please keep me out of this. No one likes this war. And I want to be president one day. Come on, send a boat or something. You're the most powerful military in the world.
Hey, nah.
You send your own boats.
Yo, they made Keir Starmer a female. Hey, grimy as hell. All right.
It was a test. Ha! You fell right into my trap. Sometimes the best reason for war is no reason at all.
But all right, guys, now that we're done having fun, let's get back to the interview.
Now, that doesn't mean they want us over there for, like Bush, for years, just for years. I always said, don't go into Iraq, but if you do, keep the oil. Well, we are a very powerful military. We're the most powerful military nation in the world, and we did a big number on them. And our people like it because they don't want to see us 100%. Think of it, 100% in a CNN poll. Which are the worst polls, almost as bad as Fox polls. I hate Fox polls. Honestly, whoever does your polls, they're terrible. Rupert Murdoch has promised me for years he's going to get rid of your pollster, but he doesn't do it. I don't get it. But your Fox polls are terrible. But the pollsters that are good have me leading by a lot and leading every candidate. If I'd love to run, but there's some things you can't do in life, I guess, not allowed to do. But we're very popular. I mean, what can I say? MAGA loves the fact that they're not going to have somebody with a nuclear bomb over their head. MAGA loves the fact, like in Venezuela, everyone said, oh, this is going to be very unpopular. Well, we're now taking in hundreds of millions of barrels of oil from Venezuela, and we're giving them a lot, and we're keeping a lot, and Venezuela is doing better than they've ever done. We had 100 million barrels of oil in the first week. We more than paid for the entire attack in fact, we made it probably 4 or 5 times more than the cost of that attack. But it showed the military power. I mean, the war was over in 45 minutes. And that's a strong military. If you go to Venezuela, everybody wears a uniform, all right? There are a lot of people. But we're getting along great with them. Now, MAGA loves it because we're there and we're participating, and it's one of the most valuable oil sites or oil countries in the world, just behind us. We're producing now more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia put together, and we don't need the Hormuz Strait. What bothers me is that countries that don't do anything about it. We're actually
here's the problem though. We do need the Strait of Hormuz. Like I said, it adds to the global supply, which kills the scarcity of oil. So we don't have oil edging over $100 a barrel. Which, well, let me see here. I believe it still is. Well, let me see here. I think Brent oil is still over 100. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, Brent oil's at $109. So I mean, this is where we're at right now. But I mean, hey, at least WTI crude is down. I mean, that was over 100 during the beginning, but no, it's still trading over 100. Therefore, we're still feeling it. So it's like I said, as much as I would like to just sit there and be like, oh yeah, our oil situation is solved on that end. No, it's not. It is not at all. But I do see the plan. It's just that, well, like I said, when's the gain coming? Because right now we're still going through the pain.
Doing this for other countries. We don't need it. We did 1%. We don't have to do anything. We don't need the 1%. I think we did it just because we want to be nice to him. We don't need it. But I think I'm more popular than I ever have been. Look, when he heard 100%, he said, "I've never seen a poll like this. This is the craziest poll I've ever seen." It was 100% of the people. And the reason is they like that I'm protecting our country from lunatics with a nuclear weapon.
Mr. President, the next time you do this on the 5, can we have you on set? Because we really want you to sit next to Jessica. I think you'd be a good influence on her. Can you do that?
Well, I think...
do me a favor and double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Appreciate the support, by the way. But let's make sure we are liking that video and showing YouTube we got engagement. And others in other channels as well, or platforms.
I watch Jessica, and I'm not a fan. And she uses fake numbers. She'll give, well, he's only polling 42%. That's not right. Polling very high, actually. Polls are just like, I hate people that use fake polls, because polls are just like bad journalists. Bad journalists, they write fake stories. Well, fake polls do damage.
Now, that got to be tough, though. Trump is really giving them the tongue lashing, like, Fox News, your polls is trash. They're making it look like nobody supports this war. They're making it look like I'm like, what, 42% approval? And I'm just like, Trump, that just might be the truth. That could be the truth. I mean, a lot of people are feeling like you kind of went back on your promise. We got 2 of your biggest supporters 3 of your biggest supporters during the election asking what the F is going on. And don't you think there are millions of followers who also voted for you is thinking the same thing? So down 42% at 42% approval, it makes sense. I'm just going to be real with you. 100% approval for the war. I mean, come on now. Come on. That is cat. Like, no.
So, but that's the thing. I'm sure I'd like her. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Yeah, she's a lovely person. She really misses the fact that she's not here. I get it. We're working on her. Don't worry.
Now tell me, did she not want to do it, or did you kick her off the show?
Nice. We didn't kick her off. She had a previous schedule that she couldn't change. But let me ask you about Iran. You kind of suggested that we'd knocked out Ayatollah Jr. Have we? And did the CIA tell you that Ayatollah Jr. is gay?
Well, they did say that, but I don't know if it was only them. I think a lot of people are saying that, which puts them off to a bad start.
Shit, anything's possible. The Ayatollah being gay is hilarious, though. I mean, like, okay. I mean, maybe.
That particular country, I sort of have to smile to myself when I say I see people trying to defend the Palestinian regime for women for Palestine, but they kill women if you don't wear a certain if you don't wear a certain cloth all over your face, you have no chance of living.
That ain't Palestine.
And,
it's more Afghanistan.
When I look at gays for Palestine, but they kill gays. They kill them instantly. They throw them off buildings. And I'm saying, who are the gays for Palestine? And they have a significant amount of gays for Palestine. Now, I think I did very well with the gay vote. Okay. I even played the gay national anthem as my walk-off, okay, for my campaign. And I think it probably helped me, but I did great with no Republicans ever gotten the gay vote like I did, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's great. Perhaps it's because I'm from New York City. I don't know, but the gay national anthem was my walk-off, and I think it probably had. But think of it, gays for Palestine, but they kill gays in Palestine. So when they hear that, I think probably we can talk them out of it. It shouldn't be too hard.
Hi, Mr. President. It's Dana. And
hi, Dana.
I think it is alarming that we have not been able to see or hear from any of the Iranian people. And I imagine that is because their internet is shut down. And I think there is some general worry about them. Obviously, their government treats them terribly and killed tens of thousands of them in January. Like Kayleigh, I would never ask you to tell us something that is classified, but do you have any insight as to how they are doing? Do they have drinking water? Do they have food?
Right, I do.
It's upsetting.
I do. But first, you remember when we had lunch years ago in the base of Trump Tower when it was a brand new building?
It was a long time ago, yes.
A long time ago, and you haven't changed. Oh. You have not changed. Now, I'm not allowed to say this. It's the end of my political...
I mean, at least she's concerned about the citizens. Shout out to her for that question. because you like, let's be real, they was already going through a water problem, and water desalination centers have been attacked, so they could be going through that. Now, for what I've been hearing, Iran is actually doing all well, except for Tehran. But other cities in Iran, they have the electricity, they got running water, so far they're fine. But Tehran, I mean, yeah, they're the ones truly going through it right now.
But you may be even better looking. Okay, so I don't know what
long we don't attack their energy infrastructure, they should be all right.
But I will not say that.
Has a lot
I will
to do
not
with
say
that.
that because that will end my political career. You're not allowed to say a woman.
I'm weak. Monty, I'm weak. He said, I told you yesterday he was gay, said. Bro, they said that the CIA that they didn't prove that he was gay. But that is hilarious though. First off, there is no proof that the Ayatollah is gay, but it is funny that the CIA says, hold on, the Ayatollah might be gay. I'm like, I don't know about that, bro. I mean, you ever seen two Muslims guys actually talk to each other? Like I'm be real with you. The way it sounds is kind of gay, but it's really, they have a whole thing of brotherly love. So I ain't gonna lie, unless they tap this man's phone or they got it, or they're about to pop out the Ayatollah's gay lover to pretty much, destroy his, I would say to destroy his legitimacy, which would be hilarious, by the way. Just bring out the Ayatollah's gay lover. And now all of Iran's like, nah, we can't do this. But I ain't gonna lie though, until they bring out the Ayatollah's gay lover, nah, I doubt it. I doubt the Ayatollah is gay. Especially as a religious leader wouldn't be the first religious leader that turned out to be gay.
Woman's beautiful anymore. You know that, Jesse. You got to be careful.
Jesse's always in
trouble.
trouble.
No, he's borderline on this stuff. I mean, he's really, but no, it was great. I still remember it very well. And look, in my opinion, when you look at what's happened, they're petrified because the one side has guns and they have very nasty guns. They have the worst guns and machine guns. And what they do is they shoot you. And the people are brave, but they're not brave when they see people going down left and right. No matter who you are, I don't care how brave, unless you're really sort of stupid, you can't really protest. And the only reason they're not protesting is because they're being shot one after another. And they're doing it with snipers, where they have snipers in buildings. Not that they have to be snipers because they have, free range. But it started with the women. You remember about a year ago, we had 250,000 women? Well, they had women being shot right between the eyes from snipers, 4 or 5 snipers.
No, that is hilarious. I had to look that one up. That's too funny. It says, as of March 26, reports emerged citing U.S. intelligence indicating that Majid Khomeini, who was appointed as Iran's new supreme leader on March 8th, may be gay. I am crying. Let me see here. Intelligence brief. U.S. President Donald Trump stated that he was briefed by the CIA and other sources about these allegations, which are viewed as credible by U.S. spy agencies. All right, he's saying that he may be gay. Let's see. The intelligence suggests that Majid Khomeini engaged in a long-term relationship with his childhood tutor. Okay, all right then. And medical reports in 2008 WikiLeaks cable previously noted that Majid Khomeini received treatment for impotency in London. All right, well, I guess he can't have kids like that. And these claims are based on intelligence reports and have been independent and have not been, my bad. These claims are based on intelligence reports and have not been independently verified, and there had been no response from Iranian officials. So, I mean, what you think the Iranian officials are going to admit that their leader's gay? But I go, that's a stretch. That is a stretch. He's like, he had a relationship with his tutor, which might have been basically a pedophilic relationship, which would be a pedophilic relationship, by the way. Like, not even gonna lie. So what are they trying to say here? But it hasn't been verified, so we'll just move on. But all right, so shout out to Mike. So let me get this straight. The CIA is credible when they say Iran has no nukes, because that's been verified by the IAEA as well. Two sources. But when they say the Ayatollah is gay, you have reserves, which I just went through the intelligence, Monty, as you've seen. It said it has not been verified. And even they say he may be gay due to a relationship he had with one of his tutors. May. Not he is gay. We have the tapes. We have the conversation gay. Or we have his gay lover coming out in a new CNN interview tonight, like gay. Like, no, not that gay.
buildings pretty high up
That
and a
would be
little far away.
hilarious.
And when you see, and you're a woman or you're a man, frankly, and you see a person dropping to the ground, bleeding from the brain badly, and then you see another one on the other side, and then
But oh, my bad. Monty said picking and choosing much. How am I picking and choosing? I just went to verify it, and it said that it has not been verified that the Ayatollah is gay. They're just going off of an alleged relationship, and WikiLeaks cable previously noted that he received not treatment ad for impotency, because that means bro can barely have kids, but it was a long-term relationship with his childhood tutor. So, and they said suggest, not he had a relationship. It says suggest. So this is what I'm saying. I'm not picking and choosing. I'm literally going off of what the CIA is saying. The information's like 2 weeks old. The fact is, it's news to you shows where you're getting your info. Bro, I'm sorry, but that's why it hasn't showed up, because I look for confirmation. I look for verifiable sources, and this hasn't been verified. Even the CIA is saying that it's just a suggestion. So, Monty, I'm sorry, but you took a suggestion, something that wasn't verified as fact. Like, I think that's more of a hit on you, dog.
and you'll see 5 or 6 or 7. That's all it took. You run, and they ran, and they never came back. And if you noticed, about 2 weeks ago, they put out a notice that if you protest, we will shoot you. They killed him. Look what they did to the wrestler. They killed him for speaking up. They killed him. He was a star wrestler, great wrestler, actually. Iran has great wrestlers. And he was a star, one of the best. And they killed him because he spoke up, spoke against the regime, which is largely decimated. You could really say we have regime change because they've all been killed. They were all dead. Nobody really knows. The reason they gave us the 8 chips is I wanted them to prove that we're dealing with somebody that's allowed to deal. And they say, we will give you a present. And the present was 8 chips. We're going to give you 8 chips. And they actually made it 10. There was 8. And I heard on one of your shows 2 days ago in the morning, a very good show hosted by very good people, Fox and Friends. And by the way, I have to say, Maria's great. You got a lot of great people, you switch back and forth. Maria's great. You have so many great people, a couple of bad ones, but you can't have everything. You have a couple of lousy ones, but you can't have everything. But I watched on the show in the morning. They said, it's very surprising. There are 8 ships coming up the strait, and it's exactly what they told us they were going to give. And then they added 2 more. And that proved to me that we're dealing with the right people. But then they didn't want to say that publicly. And I said, well, you should say it publicly. And now they are saying it publicly.
No, they're not. They're still saying, what in God's name are you talking about, Trump? But I mean, hey, if everything goes in this direction, I'm happy. I want this to be true. I want them to actually be negotiating. But I'm listening to the other side as well. And they're pretty much saying, like, bro, what are you talking about? And I kind of like when both sides sync together on what they're doing, because like usually when Trump is saying they're talking and Iran is saying they're talking, yes, we can all believe that they're talking. But when one side says that they're talking and the other side says that we're not, and then Trump is saying, well, we pretty much basically got regime change. I mean, I don't know about that, man, because a regime change would mean these guys would probably stop firing at the Gulf states and into Israel. Like, that's what that would mean. But so I don't know about that.
Mr. President, let's shift on to other topics. I'm debating whether to be serious or not serious. I'm going to go not serious.
Do you think Biden would do this interview? Can you imagine?
No,
Do you
definitely
think
not.
Biden, Sleepy Joe?
No way.
It would have ended in the first 12 seconds.
You're doing the White House Correspondents' Dinner for the first time, and you're going to attend. Why wasn't I asked to do the roast?
Well, I would love it. Actually, if you would do it, I'd accept it. If they would do that, I would accept that 100%. But, I haven't done it because right from the beginning, I was treated rather rudely and crudely. I mean, I won the election in 2016.
To be honest, I mean, if you ain't noticed, Trump actually did a roast before. That's why when people say, oh, Trump, he's thin-skinned and all that, I'm just like, I don't know, not Trump, not him. I mean, this man literally sat down and got roasted, like, viciously. And then bragged about being a billionaire and called them all idiots and then walked off. It was kind of, I ain't gonna lie, it was cold. He was cold for that.
It was one of the greatest elections ever. And you were all witness to it. And I had but they were so nasty. The press was so nasty. So I didn't do it. And, there's this theory that I was there while Barack Hussein Obama was speaking, and he was hitting me a little bit. Actually, it was very nice. And I loved it. I really loved it. I was saying to my wife, our first lady, our movie star first lady, Nancy, I always say there's only room in a family for one star. This is serious. This could be a problem. But she's a movie star. Can you believe it? But I was saying to her, I said, I love this. I'm having a good time because every joke was about me, and I sort of liked it. I can handle that stuff. And they said, I was so upset with that evening that I decided that evening to run for president. Well, it wasn't, but it was at the White House dinner. It had nothing to do with my running for president. I actually enjoyed it, but I never did it. And I said, I'll do it now. We had a great election victory. We won the popular vote. We won. If you take a look at the counties in America, 87% of the counties in America. That's why when you look at, they go by counties when they do the coloring, and you look at a map of the United States, it's all red except for two little blue lines along the edge. If you look at the little New York and a little California, and I think California, I think we have a chance. If they would have no mail-in voting in California, I would win California, and the right person, the right Republican, could win. But they send out like 38 million ballots. A lot of them go to Democrats. In many cases, you get 2, 3, 4. The highest number I've heard was 7. And Republicans are there calling for their ballot. They're saying, "Do you have my ballot, please?" So anyway, but we won 86% of the counties in America. So, it was like a great election. And I don't know. I think as bad as they've been better to me than they were in the first 4 years. It's hard to be bad. We will soon. You'll see. I mean, we had up until I decided to make this little journey, as we talk about, to Iran, we've had the best economy ever. We have $18 trillion being invested in our country. No country's ever had 3. The record is 3, happened to be China many years ago, 10 years ago. We have 18 coming in, and they're building plants all over the United States. I just left the head of Micron. It's one of the hottest companies. But you have Jensen, you have from NVIDIA, you have all these people. They're all building plants one after another. I'm making it possible for them to do it. We're getting the permits rapidly. We're letting them build their own electric because we have an old grid system that wouldn't allow it. So we're letting them build their own electric plants. They're building electric plants for every one of their big buildings because they're massive buildings that we wouldn't be able to supply that kind of power. They need the new factories in this country need more than double the electricity that we currently have for the whole nation, for everything. Think of it, more than double. We need twice as much electricity as and what we're doing is saying,
all right, I hate to do this, but Trump, what do you mean? We're actually doing worse than last month. Look at this. This is the NASDAQ, guys. The NASDAQ. And bro, for the month, it is down. 5 days down. Of course, the day was down. It didn't do so well. Be real with you. And I'm going to the major indexes here. S&P 500 for the month, down. It's like, come on now. Don't do us like this. Like, it's right in front of our faces. It is not looking so good right now, especially when we were doing a lot better last month, and now we're down. Like, yes, this is why people are going to be upset with Trump when he tries to sit there and tell us it's all good. Dow Jones as well when it's down. Shoot, what about 6 months, though? We could even into 6 months? All right, no, I don't even want to look at this no more. I don't even want to look at it no more. Like, I just can't. I don't see what he's talking about.
You build it yourself. This way they can't complain. But we're getting them fast approvals. Lee Zeldin is doing a great job.
Mr. President, Kayleigh again. 2 things happen tomorrow. TSA misses their second paycheck, $1 billion in missed paychecks, and Congress is set to go on a paid spring break vacation. Thune says he's given his last and final offer to Democrats, and you tweeted out today, terminate the filibuster. Thune said, I got a call this morning to that effect from the president. Where do things stand with TSA? Will they get paid, and should Republicans nuke the filibuster to do it?
Well, look, I like John Thune, and it's not easy for him because he's got 3 or 4 people in there that, I'm not big fans of, frankly, and that don't vote for us like they should. You have, perhaps I shouldn't mention their names, but you have 3 or 4 people that I am not at all fans of, and it's not an easy job for John. And I'm telling you, the Democrats, the one thing they do is they stick together.
Bruh.
They don't have these people like Massey.
Yeah, stick together no matter what. I mean, of course they got Fetterman, but I'm gonna be honest with you, it ain't enough. Like the fact that these guys shut down DHS, pretty much making these TSA workers quit because, well, bro, they can no longer trust the security of their paycheck when this has happened to them 2 times within a year. So yeah, of course, a lot of people are gonna start walking out. I mean, let's be real, and then the gas, like honestly, to go to work, yes, gas has gotten a little bit more expensive, so that's another thing that's hurting their pockets. So, but it's kind of funny how the Democrats see all this and they still don't want to vote yes on the bill. Like, you know, just out of concerns for the American people, just put the pettiness to the side about ICE and out of concern for the American people. Because think about it like this: Trump already pulled back a little bit on his immigration, on his crackdown on immigration. He got out of Minneapolis. He's pretty much saying that, well, I guess we're just going to go after the criminals. So what are y'all even doing this for? And why y'all got to hold American people hostage? Like, this is where the Dems will always lose me at. Like, you guys are literally holding American people hostage just to get what? A point across? And why not? Like I said, if this is all about ICE, that a situation's already been solved for you guys. You cried and bitched enough and you got what you want. Take the dub, open back up the government so people can get paid instead of having ICE officers doing TSA, which is, I mean, it's kind of crazy, but hey, we got to do something. At least my man's thinking on his feet on that note.
Who's just a terrible congressman. They don't have Rand Paul. I call Massey Rand Paul Jr. They both come from Kentucky. I call him Rand Paul Jr. Never votes, no matter what. You can give him voter ID and 5 other things that are perfect, and he'll figure out a way not to vote. It's just there's something wrong with the guy. Rand votes. Rand said Trump is one of the greatest presidents in the history of our country. And I called him and I said, I'd rather have your vote. Take the statement back. Just give us your vote.
Done.
But, I sort of like the guy, but he just doesn't vote for good things. It's just crazy. He wants to be a libertarian, I guess, but he just said, I'm fine with libertarians. I'm sort of a libertarian myself. But you have others. You have Murkowski from Alaska. I've given Alaska probably more. She's a very difficult person, very, very, very terrible person, to be honest with you. And you have Collins. And I won half of Maine. I win Maine. I win the lumberjacks and the fishermen. I win those big, strong lumberjacks. They like Trump. But she wins the other part of Maine, and I hope she wins because we have to. She's a good person, actually, but we have to win. We have to keep the majority. Otherwise, all of the things that we've done are going to go down the tubes. But I would terminate the filibuster, and I'd take a vote, and I'd have everything done, and I'd vote on voter ID, and I'd vote on citizenship. I'd vote on no mail-in ballots, other than if you're, military or you're ill or you're traveling. I mean, I'll be generous about it, but no mail-in ballots. They're inherently dishonest. Jimmy Carter said that the greatest thing Jimmy Carter ever did was after he got out of office. He had, because his tenure in office was not good. He did something that is horrible. He gave away a thing called the Panama Canal for $1. This was perhaps the worst deal ever made. The Panama Canal for $1 was not good. It was I don't know if you know, Panama Canal was the most expensive thing, if you bring it to current dollars, ever built in the history of our country, in the history of the world. And it was a massive, we lost 38,000 people because of the mosquito and a particularly vicious snake. This was not a friendly area. This was not a hospitable climate for the climate change people. And they built the Panama, but they lost 38,000 American lives were lost. And it was the most, at the time, it's the equivalent to $5 trillion today. And he gave it away for $1. It's also very profitable, by the way, always was very, very profitable. Should never have given it away. So, I like to see things done. I would like to see the filibuster terminated. I think it's great. And here's the one thing, and I saw Greg say this the other night, and I do like his show. I like all of your shows, actually. I'm glad Jessica's not there. Because I think, no, actually, I think your show would be better without her. But, who am I to say that? Isn't that terrible? I think it would be a lot better. But Kennedy, you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
But, we have a filibuster that would give us the right to vote. And we
do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, or wherever you're watching. Make sure you like the video. Appreciate the support, guys. Oh, you got any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements? Go ahead and send in a super chat, or you can go ahead and send in a Venmo as well. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's get right into it.
Need the Democrat votes, and you have a couple of Republicans. But remember this, and you all said it, they are going to vote for it if they ever get in a position where they get the presidency, and hope that doesn't happen because they would destroy what we built. But if they ever got in the position where they got the majorities in the presidency, they will vote on it in the first hour. Maybe the first day, but I think the first hour. And when you know that, why are they doing this? They should vote on the filibuster, and they should approve everything. And they should also get voter ID and all of those other things that I said. For instance, men and women's sports voted in. Just voted in. We're winning it anyway, but voted in. There's so many things. They're like 100. You know, I love when they say they're 80-20. They're not 80-20. They're 98-2. And vote this stuff in. But some Democrats, they stick together, and the Republicans, it only takes 3 or 4 people, and we have a few beauties.
Mr. President, speaking of mosquitoes and snakes, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, they're both on book tour, taking some shots at each other. Kamala took a shot in her book on Gavin. This is the sound of Gavin reacting to that.
Well, MP Buttigieg, and what was it? And what was the other guy? He said he was too Jewish. Josh Shapiro. Nah, that was hilarious to hear Kamala say that. Like one's gay and the other one is, well, too Jewish. I was like, hey, yo. Yeah, it almost made me actually want to have like a real conversation with Kamala, like without no cameras or anything. Like, I wonder what you really like, because you was wilding in that book.
Listen to this. Go.
Why don't you guys like each other?
No, quite the contrary.
So BFFs.
That goes back 20 plus years ago. I think the press and pundits want to make something of that, and so they try to color it in. She gave me a little shot as it relates to the actual truth of the walk I was on. She added that in. I think it graded some color for the book. It certainly helped her book sales. Not my component part, but that book is done unbelievably well.
Did you read it?
Well. I did not fully read it. I've got it. I've read excerpts. I admit, Kamala, I have not fully absorbed the book.
So who do you think is going to rise to the top, Newsom or Harris?
Well, first of all, he said he can't read. Okay. You know, he did an interview. I have no idea who did the interview. I've never seen the gentleman. I'm sure he's excellent. But he did an interview a couple of weeks ago that was maybe the worst interview for a professional.
Bro, like Newsom's like the biggest chameleon ever. Like, bro, he'll shapeshift to be, well, whatever his base wants him to be. That's what's so weird about him. Like, he'll change his opinion in an instant. Like, I promise you, if the Dems weren't so pro-trans, well, guess what? He wouldn't be pro-trans. If they weren't so pro-illegal or undocumented immigration, well, he would be against it as well. Like, he's literally a shapeshifter into whatever his party wants him to be. Which, I mean, honestly, that actually may get him the nomination, depending on what the message of the Democratic Party is. Which, hopefully... But well, actually, no, most likely is going to be insanity. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wonder what they're going to run on in 2028. It can't just be the hate Trump agenda. I'll tell you that.
Politician that I've ever seen. He said he's mentally incompetent. He can't read a speech. He said things about his brain. He's got bad board scores. He's got bad this. And then he looked at the room and he said something to the effect that I'm dumb just like all of you people. And he ends up being called a racist because of that statement. This was the worst interview, but he admitted that he was a stupid person. And we don't want a stupid person as president. And if you watch him with the hands and everything else, there's something wrong with the guy. He's a nice looking guy, but he's losing the look. He's losing it. It happens. It happens. It's all right. He's losing the look. And, you know, we want an intelligent person. He admits that he suffers from mental disability. He admits it. And somebody said, a reporter, a fake reporter said to me, well, it's not fair that you talk about he's mentally disabled. I said, yeah, but he said that he's essentially mentally disabled. And I think it's fine. I just don't want it in a president. Okay. We have enough problems.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. If this is gonna be the 2028 Democratic nominee or presidential candidate, bro, damn, y'all cooked already. You know what? I'm pretty sure I can get Sid up here to admit that as well. Like, if Gavin Newsom is y'all presidential candidate, y'all cooked.
We just had that.
I mean, bro, he has like so much dirt on him. The clips of all the dumb shit he says, like, bro, I could run a 24-hour, 2-day marathon on all the dumb shit this man has said. It would be too easy. I would like have 2 years worth of content just grilling this man on all the dumb crap he's done and said. So I'm sorry, but it would just be too easy for us to grill Gavin Newsom if he was a presidential candidate. And then Kamala, I mean, like, we did it one time. You want us to do it again? Like, does she need to be do like that again, guys? You really want to put that lady through that? Did you not see how she pulled up last time? That lady was drunk out of her mind, suffering. You want to do that to her again? Bro, y'all heartless. Heartless.
We went through 4 years of that, and look what it got us. Not good. Not good.
Not
Sleepy.
good.
It got us Sleepy Joe.
Hi, it's Dana again. So I have a kind of a pop culture question for you.
Okay.
So I'm new to New York, relatively speaking, so 15 years. And there's all of these young people across America are watching Love Story, which is the story of JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. And I'm curious, Did you know JFK Jr. and do you have any nostalgia for the 90s?
So a little bit, but actually I love the 80s a little more than the 90s. The 90s I was fighting hard. You know, we were in sort of a depression, a countrywide depression. And depressions aren't great when you're in the real estate business, but I did great in it. I did well. I always made money. I made money in good times and bad times, but it was it was a sort of a nasty time economically a lot of the nights. But I actually knew him and liked him, and he liked me, believe it or not. He actually put me on the cover of his magazine, George. And I got to be friendly with him, and he would go down to Mar-a-Lago with me and with Carolyn. It was a tragic thing. Look, he was going to sell that magazine, which was, a little bit of an anchor. It didn't work out too well. It was okay, but it was fine. Today, magazines are not doing too well, but in those days, they'd be all right. It was all right, but it wasn't great and wasn't good for him. His mother he wanted to be a Broadway actor more than any other thing. He wanted to be a Broadway. I knew him very well, actually. He liked me. Can you believe it? He liked me. And I liked him. Let me tell you, he's a very handsome guy. He was a handsome guy. You don't get better looking. And he was going to run for politics. He was going to run for the Senate. He told me, and nobody would have beaten him. And he probably would have ended up being president because he had a lot of good things. He was sort of a great guy. I knew them both pretty well. I knew him much better. They would go down to Mar-a-Lago together. And they had a very interesting relationship. They would bicker. I want to be nice. They would bicker together. They would, in other words, have little fights. And then they'd make up and start kissing wildly. It was one of those relationships. And you never know how those relationships are going to turn out, frankly. I've seen them go on for years, and I've seen them go on for about 2 days before they broke up. But they would bicker like few people I've ever seen. But the bottom line is, and every woman loved him. He was a truly good-looking guy that was a nice guy, and I think he would have been the senator easily. I mean, easily. And he's going to run for the Senate in New York, and I think he would have gone on perhaps to be the president.
Mm-hmm. Well, someone who's a little less charming than JFK Jr., God rest his soul, Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
One of those lackluster late night hosts took aim at your new DHS chief. Let's hear what he had to say last night about Mark Wayne Mullen.
Trump's got a whole new generation of thinkers lined up, including his newly confirmed Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne, Chuck Mike, Bruce Dave Mullen. Maybe Mellon's better. He is the now former senator of Oklahoma. Before he was elected to the Senate, Mark Wayne Mullen was a low-level MMA fighter and a plumber. That's right. We have a plumber protecting us from terrorism now.
I'm sorry, but what was Biden doing? He was letting in terrorists. So I'm sorry, but it's kind of rich for you guys to criticize. I mean, first off, the man, hey, bro, he ain't even. I think he is doing the job now. He got confirmed in. I remember I was watching it. Yep. He got confirmed in, hand on the Bible and all that good stuff. So shout out to Mark Wayne Mullen. But I mean, damn, can the man cook first? Because y'all didn't do anything at all. That's why we need somebody possibly like him who can possibly do a better job than Kristi Noem. Once again, I'm not really sure why Kristi Noem. Actually, I think I know why. it's not really what was going on in Minneapolis. I think it was all of the stuff that was going on around her, but like specifically, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, like, you know, the LLC, like the ad spending that was going to an LLC that might have been connected to one of her friends or maybe her herself, the possibly cheating on her husband, basically an office relationship going on. Yeah, there was a lot going on around Chrissy Nome. So it was probably best to get her up out of here. It really wasn't a performance thing, more of, well, office conduct, I guess is the best way to put it.
What do you think about those comments?
Well, I've watched this guy. He's a loser. He gets no ratings, none. He's got no talent. He's got Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, whenever I watch, I just can't believe that he's even on the air. He shouldn't be on the air. In the old days when you didn't have good ratings or you didn't have any ratings practically, you get fired. He should be canned. Mark Wayne is fantastic. He became very successful. He took over a small company from his parents, and he made it very, very successful. Made money. He was also a very good fighter, very, very good fighter. I don't know what, I never heard low level MMA. I mean, if you fight these guys, these are rough cookies. And if you fight, and he had a good record, he had a very good record in fighting. But that's unimportant. But he is sort of a fighter. But more than any, I call him country smart. He's a very smart guy. He's got a great way. Everybody loves him. He got a couple of Democrat votes, which is shocking nowadays, right? But everybody loves him, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job. He's got a great way about him, and people respect him a lot.
Mr. President, could I ask, where are you right now? I know that may be a weird question. Are you in the Oval Office?
I'm in the Oval Office. I'm usually there waiting for a call. How are we doing on Iran? How are we doing in Venezuela? How are we doing in all different things, all different aspects? I cover a lot of different topics. No, I love the Oval Office. It's the greatest office anywhere in the world. I have people come in, the biggest people in the world, presidents and prime ministers and the biggest business people, and they walk into the office and you really are at an advantage because they are so freaked out by the Oval Office. They can't believe it, that they're there. No, it's the most precious piece of real estate in the world. And we're building a ballroom. They've been after one for 150 years, and we're building what will be, I think, the best anywhere in the world. It'll be unbelievable. And, it's interesting. You have the preservation, essentially, this group preservation, a group of preservation. They sue me for that. They sue me because the Trump Kennedy Center, I'm fixing it. It's in horrible shape, actually dangerous shape, with steel that's rusting and rotting, roofs that are falling in, rain is pouring. It's the worst thing you've ever seen. It's going to be incredible. They sue me. But they don't sue the guy that's billions of dollars over budget and actually destroyed the Federal Reserve building. That's Jerome Too Late Powell. I said, did they sue him? I build under budget, ahead of schedule. And by the way, there's no cost. I'm building the ballroom, and it's a very big thing with the military and everything else. Military is very much involved. It's a big, big deal, and it's great. It's going to be beautiful. But you would think that they go after a guy who's destroyed the Federal Reserve building. Federal Reserve building was so beautiful. He ripped down the most beautiful part of it. I would have done that job for $25 million. That it would have been gorgeous. And I think they're going to hit the $4 billion mark for a renovation of a small little complex. It's a little complex. And I say, why aren't you suing Powell? And they don't know. They have no idea. But we're building a beautiful, I think it'll be one of the most beautiful ballrooms, maybe the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world. And it's very much fitting with the White House. And the White House deserves it. But presidents for 150 years wanted a ballroom. And many of you, I'm sure, were invited to big events where you have the president of China, you have France, our friend Macron. We'll send them immediately. But I said, no, I don't need them anymore. We won. I don't need you anymore. I'd like you before we won, not after we won.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It is a bit unfair of Trump to try to drag NATO, into this little conflict with Iran. Because think about it like this. It's like the whole point of NATO was that, if anybody attacks, a NATO country, we all got to jump in on them. We got to pretty much jump them. It's what we got to do according to NATO, according to what we agreed to, right? Now, that was it. It wasn't that, oh, well, you're having a conflict with another country, so you got to join in on it. It's like, or no, it's not like that. It's like, just because, what was it? I say if France wanted to go fight Russia, that mean what? They can drag us into a war with Russia? Like, that's not how it works, guys. So I'm gonna be real with you. It kind of made sense when NATO said, I mean, look, bro, you started, you can end it, hopefully. And then he hits him with the, well, nope, I was just testing you guys. I knew you guys were a bunch of cowards, and I will never trust you guys again, I guess, is where he's going with this. But hey, I guess it was either the ultimate shit test, or it could have just been Trump going like, all right, well, I guess since I can't get the help, it's F them, and I'm gonna publicly say it.
But the people would have a tent, and the tent would have 1,000 people, because we have a very small room here, very small, much ridiculously small. And if it rained, the water would always go, because it's at a low point on the ground. It's the only place for the tent. And so if it rained hard, the water would be 4 or 5 inches off the ground. So you can see the president of China, President Xi, sitting there after having left one of the great ballrooms of the world, the Great Hall of China, they call it. It is sitting there with water over his ankles. Now we're giving them one of the, and by the way, no taxpayer money used at all for all this stuff. The Ark, we're doing a triumphal ark, which was, the circle by the bridge, by the Arlington Bridge near Arlington Cemetery. They've wanted to be built for 175 years. A thing got in the way, a little event got in the way called the Civil War. The Civil War. They were going to build it, and then they had the Civil War, and that, I think it was a good excuse. But we're doing that. We're getting it built. It's going to be beautiful, and we're doing a lot of good things.
Could we ask you one last final question before we lose our show to Brett Baer?
Yes.
This comes from a very dear friend of mine. She's curious who you will be rooting for at the Masters.
Well, it's such a danger. I have so many friends that are top professional golfers that they're so good. Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy. I love Tiger, but he won't be there. He'll be there, but he won't be playing in it. I have so many friends, and they're such great players. They're such talented. They're long. Jesse's going to be a good player. I saw Jesse hitting a ball a little while ago. Jesse's going to be.
All right. Let's get. He's kind of just going off. Well, not really off subject, but getting into stuff that's not too important. But hey, man, so it's great he's going out there getting exercise and doing golf. All right, here panel says Trump says he doesn't care about Iran deal. Well, let's get right into it. You already know who this is coming from, CNN. Let's get into it.
I just feel like it's really hard to hear the president say that he doesn't care about us being in war and that we have had troops that already died.
Well, according to the president, we won this war, but we're still sending troops there for some reason. But we won this war. We don't need to deal with Iran because we won the war. We apparently got regime change, according to that interview that Trump just did. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I guess we won, guys, even though we're sending more. Or you never know. Tomorrow you might just be, nope, everybody go back home. We won. Iran wants to come to a deal. Like I said, guys, like what Trump is saying and what's happening, like in reality, is not matching up. But I mean, hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it with you guys because you never know. It could turn out like that. But yeah, when he says, I don't care about a deal with Iran. We won. We got regime change. It's like, what? Where? Wait, where do you see this at?
Like, imagine if you're a family who has lost somebody to this war and you hear your commander-in-chief say, I don't care. Or imagine that you are a military family and you're afraid that your family is going to be deployed. Or imagine you're just a person like us sitting at the table. It's like, I want you to care, sir. I really do. Like, I want you to care. I am like, I want you to be bought in this moment. And to your point, when you started, it's like, when people lose interest is one thing, but when people are indifferent, that's a dangerous place to be. And I think those other countries in the region want him not to be indifferent in this moment too.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, Tim,
just,
you've served in Europe.
I have, and I've talked to people that are deploying right now, that are going overseas to support these missions, and actually asked a few of them, and as a veteran myself, the comment that the president made, I don't believe in context, was that I don't care about the operations writ large. I think his comment was, I don't care if Iran thinks that I'm desperate or not. I don't care about the opinion of Iran in this situation. So I don't know that
I heard the same thing. I was like, nah, he did not say it as if he didn't care about American lives. He pretty much said he pretty much was, well, showing a strong face as he usually does. He's like, bro, I don't care what Iran said he about to do. We're going to do it anyway. Period, point blank. I mean, that is Trump.
Well, I mean, he was saying explicitly, I don't care if they make a deal or not, which, you know, this deal is supposedly going to keep us from potentially putting boots on the ground.
Right. And as I said, I think the president, in context, his comment was, I don't care about Iran's opinion about us making a deal or not. Not that he doesn't care at large. As you said, he's the commander in chief. Every time you brought up the service members that were killed, every time we've had a dignified transfer, the president has been there. He's spoken to these families. So I think it's a little disingenuous to say that the president doesn't care writ large about these military operations.
I mean,
I do think it's fair for him to say in
I
context that he doesn't care
But he's
about the opinion
about how he uses his words. And I think when you say something like that, even if it is in the context of a negotiation and a deal, we're still talking about the fact that if you're saying I don't care about negotiations, prices for gas and oil are so high. I mean, I think 20 states are now facing gas prices that have risen over $1. Airline prices are going to go up because fuel is now double for those airlines. So the airlines are going to shift the cost to the customers. And so when you say these words like, I don't care, to the average person, you know, that's not sitting here talking about this, but goes to the gas pump and is like, but I care about these prices. I care because I can't afford to fly home to see my family for Easter because I'm sure we'll get into it, the long lines and also the prices. Especially in wartime, words matter. And I think truth especially matters. And when we are not seeing that from this administration, and I think that's what's hard to digest when you see comments like that.
Yeah, well, General Stanley McChrystal, who, of course, well-known part of many of the wars that the United States has been fighting in recent decades, talked to the New York Times about, it seems his comments were about how the administration potentially, Pete Hegseth, the defense.
Oh God, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. And if you're watching horizontal, just go ahead and press the like button. Appreciate the support, guys. And you have any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, go ahead and super chat it in. All right, let's keep it going.
Secretary of the President, the top is how he put it. He talks about being disappointed by how the top of our country is talking about military operations right now. Watch, and we'll talk about it.
I'm disappointed by the current atmosphere that is communicated from the top. I had the honor and opportunity to serve with some of the most elite forces, people who really did some extraordinary things, but they didn't beat their chest about it.
Right.
And they weren't braggadocious, and they didn't talk about, yeah, we love killing people. That's just not the way they behaved. Now, the danger, though, of some of that verbiage now is,
I know that's what I'm saying. It is a lot of guys like who the pro-war guys are like, yeah, I'm glad we're killing all of them. Yeah, get them some more. Oh, we don't care that civilians are in the way. And that's not everybody, of course. It's not everybody in MAGA, but there's some bloodthirsty guys over here at MAGA that, I mean, has no chill. There's people acting like, oh, well, we need a glass Iran. And I'm just like, whoa there. I mean, hold on now. Like, y'all asking for mass destruction at this point.
To the force is 18.
I thought this was about nuclear capabilities.
Years old. Right. And it's influenceable.
And he was specifically talking about the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. But the point that he's making is the one we were just discussing. Words matter.
Absolutely. And I think the comments that the journal was talking about is like you said, the statements that were made by the secretary. And I would not have used those words, that we'll negotiate with bombs. I think it's a specific quote that he's referencing. Now, I'll also say at the same time that, I won't take a lesson in civility and statesmanship from the Iranian regime, right, who's killed hundreds of thousands of their own people on their streets, who don't have the greatest record with women or members of the LGBT community, or Americans, that they've killed around the country, around the world. I'm not going to take a lesson from the Iranians because their feelings are hurt because the Secretary of Defense made that comment. But I would not have made that statement in that context.
And I think just some of the language that he uses, unfortunately, is going to.
I mean, if we're talking about talking to the Iranians, talking about saying that, we're going to negotiate with bombs, then yeah, I can see why they'd be like, hey, yo, bro, whoa, chill, bro. I thought we was going to talk. You're saying you're about to drop a bomb and then talk? I mean, haven't y'all done that enough? I mean, no, really, haven't we?
To tarnish our military and has, frankly, politicized our military even more so.
Sorry, what's wrong with warrior ethos and lethality? That is the focus of the
it's more how he uses it in the context of we're going to go negotiate with our bombs.
Sure.
I think those words matter. I think also his focus on just the politicization that we've seen is, I personally feel, is unlike any other administration that we have seen.
But our focus on lethality and a warrior ethos is absolutely legitimate.
That is. I'm just saying, like, his focus on some of these words and the continued repetition of how he uses it.
But it's not.
I'm going to clarify for you really quick that the purpose of the military hasn't changed on its lethality and goals.
Okay,
I'm just saying, like, how he uses his words and like doing push-up contests in the pack is not really getting us farther.
Can we also stipulate that again? I think they'd be better served by General Kane doing more of the press
I agree.
briefings.
Yes,
but
totally.
having said that, during Pete's time as Secretary of War and Defense, he's had incredibly successful operations in Venezuela, attack on the nuclear facility in Iran, and so far, by all accounts, whether the politics of this current incursion, the military success has been remarkable.
I actually don't dispute that. I don't
dispute.
And Operation Midnight Hammer was a success. I think the Maduro operation was a success, and that shows the prowess of our military, of our joint force. And Operation Midnight Hammer was something that has been dusted off the shelves by multiple administrations, including in your first administration under Donald Trump. That is an operation that continued to get refined under Democratic and Republican presidents. So it was executed with refinement because our military practiced that so much. And so I'm not. It was not. But I'm not disputing the operation being success. I actually have on this show touted, like, when he said that the review of what happened at the school in Iran of those girls being killed is under review. I think I was on the show with you and I said that is the right language to use. That was the right thing to do. So I will give him where credit is due, but the language that he uses with our military has further politicized it, and that is a problem.
I don't think that's an accurate characterization. Again, having been one of those 18-year-old kids that they referenced in there, people are not military members. Many, I talk to hundreds of them a week. They're not politicized. They're actually motivated. They're actually ready to go execute their function to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, under the leadership of Pete Hegseth. They don't look at the politics of it. We sit here at this table in our ivory tower in our nice suits, and we talk about these things. But the men and women in the military don't have that.
I would actually push back on that, because I did talk to some people last night in uniform that do feel uncomfortable with what's happening, that do feel uncomfortable with the language.
I mean, what was it? It was the military guys that came out because they said their commanders talking about this being a holy war. They're like, this is a war for Jesus. Like, bro, this is Armageddon, all this crazy stuff. And this is what's being told to our military men. So, yes, there are reports of guys who feel uncomfortable, not about serving their country, not at all, just about the language that's being used towards this war from their, leadership. That's a bit concerning.
That is not the opinion of our
What
military.
I would say is that, yes, that is, the military does fall under the command of Pete Hegseth. That doesn't dismiss, though, the fact that he has politicized the department. It's not even the Department of Defense anymore. It is the Department of War, because of, like, there are just some truths to be here. It doesn't mean that the men and women who are serving are not going to follow command. What it does mean that Pete Hegseth and this administration have done some politically charged
And if
things.
you do, I mean, how do you view the social media videos that have been put out that seem to basically gamify war? I mean, look, anyone that's gone to war, anyone that has loved someone that has gone to war knows it's not a game.
Of course, it's not a game, but I'll say that the facts sort of disagree with these characterizations. Our military across all the branches had the highest recruiting number.
Okay, make sure y'all double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen, guys. Appreciate the support. Let's keep going.
That they had the last 4 years in the last administration, our military was hemorrhaging. It was suffering because people didn't want to join.
It did raise
you're talking about that. Can I just finish my point? With the exception of the Marine Corps, of course, I have a bias. The Marine Corps kept its numbers for recruitment. But that's right, Semper Fi. But I would say that the military, the facts disagree with this point. That
recruitment efforts were going up under Secretary Austin, under the Biden administration. Yes, they continue to go up under.
They failed every year.
No, that is actually not true. That is absolutely not true. It was continuing to go up. And I will say, just to get to the gamification of what we're seeing in war. I mean, you have Call of Duty videos and SpongeBob being spliced together as if it is some type of game, and people are coming home in caskets. And
that was funny, though. It was funny. It is a bit. I mean, I can see how distasteful to some, but come on now, that meme was funny as hell. All right, here, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into the next video real quick. Actually, let's go ahead over to back to the right side of media. All right, this is what boots on the ground means, really. Medal of Honor recipient explains. All right, let's get right into it.
David Bellavia is a Medal of Honor recipient. David, why would someone say we're losing?
Well, and I can explain that actually. Well, because one, the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Regime change has not been effectuated. The Iranian, like we say, we've grinded down their military capabilities to 90%, but they're still shooting, well, a whole lot of missiles into Israel, and they're still sending drones as they want to any location in the Gulf. And we just found out that they have the capability to reach 4,000 kilometers. So now I wouldn't say that, oh, this is what, well, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't see that as us losing, but I can see why people have that mindset. Personally, I think that they really just want us to lose if they thinking that, because I'm gonna be real with you. Militarily wise, up front, they can't beat us. But this is why they're doing the asymmetric warfare and holding energy infrastructure in the Gulf region and the Strait of Hormuz hostage, because it's the best way to get us to back the F off. And for them, like I said, they're literally holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage and asking for demands. And it's either we bomb the hell out of them and get them to back off, or we capitulate. So we're gonna see what happens.
I mean, I think it's obvious that we've got some hurt feelings out there. I just got to tell you, Jesse, your monologues are incredible. So much information you're putting out there. Congratulations to your staff. You need to play Freebird behind it though, because I'm so pumped up. If you just heard what you heard in that monologue with A-10 Warthogs, with Apache helicopters, all that do you realize these B-52s are dropping 70,000 pounds of munition per sortie? 70,000 pounds. We may have hit 10,000 targets, but I'll tell you what, we hit them more than one time. And when you put all of what Secretary Hegseth put out there, how we got here, all these folks that want to talk about, that agreement the Obama administration made. Well, we found out what happened with Gaza when they got humanitarian aid. They built tunnel systems with our taxpayer dollars. And now we're blowing up what we gave them back in the Obama administration. Yeah, if I'm a Democrat, I'm probably thinking that this doesn't look right either. Because the way that they've run foreign policy has been a mistake.
Yeah, they have to say that. I mean, if Trump is winning, he has to say Trump's losing, even if it's America. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So there's a few options we just ran through on the straight. It's not just.
I mean, here's a problem, dog. Like, yes, we get it. We get that they've been striking places repeatedly. We know. But that's like when you guys say that, and we're still complaining about Iran firing into, well, I would say what? They fired into, I think it was Iraq. Yeah, when we're complaining about them firing into Iraq, them helping Hezbollah out by firing into northern Israel and hitting strategic targets in Israel. So we get what you're saying, but Iran is still doing what they're doing. And we're just wondering, all right, well, yeah, keep saying that we're dropping all these bombs, but Iran is still doing what they're doing. Y'all been saying this for about a week now, and Iran is still doing what they're doing. And they're still, and the Strait of Hormuz is still being closed. It's still closed. Regime is still in power. I mean, we're technically still in this conflict/war. Like, we haven't withdrawn troops at all, even though Trump said that we won. So, yes, we hear you guys, but what we're seeing is not matching up.
There's Carg Island. There's some other islands. There's the coastline. What kind of operation could you envision happening there?
We're standardized to think that boots on the ground means 120,000 Americans. And through the global war on terror, 120,000 Americans vacillated between 50 and 70,000 for over 20 years. I mean, boots on the ground does not mean a never-ending campaign where we're slowly escalating. But if you've got 60% uranium and you're hiding them in pipelines, or you're hiding them in areas that you don't think this president or this Department of War is going to go after, there's only one way to get those packages out, and that's going to be with human beings pulling them out.
And I said it yesterday. I mean, shout out to this guy. He pretty much said what I was trying to tell Monty last night. I was like, to get that nuclear, that enriched uranium that we're so scared about, yeah, we actually got to put boots on the ground from that. We got to put boots on the ground to get that uranium. Like, it's not going to happen through airstrikes. And of course, he knows this because he also knows that Iran builds underground bunkers. It's like, I mean, really good ones as well. They have this little special mix of concrete that they got going on. But yeah, to one, if we want regime change, boots on the ground. I mean, and y'all say y'all don't want that. Well, okay. Well, we're talking about handling of their nuclear capabilities. And I guess we're trying to, what? If we can't get it through a deal, then I guess we're going to have to seize that uranium. And if we're doing that, that's going to be boots on the ground. So, and we all don't want that. Well, I don't want that. But I mean, Lord knows the way Mac has been switching up. As soon as boots hits the ground, they're going to be trying to spin it to us how it's a good idea.
Ensure that they can't be used or sold. Here's the other thing. It's one thing for the Iranians to say, you know, they're not going to turn this into a weapon. What if they put that on the market? What if someone else gets it? You know, there's that operation is well within the realm of possibility. What makes the most sense? How could we do it the fastest? I'll tell you what, you're putting a lot of options for the president on the table right now with about 5,000 Marines in the 82nd Airborne.
Yeah, that's damn right. You make a good point about them trafficking the uranium. If you do take Karg and they're broke and they have no more money, no more facilities to rearm, they might have to resort to go into the black market and seeing what they can get.
Bro, if we take Karg, they're gonna attack all energy infrastructure in the region. Us taking Karg means we're blocking off their trade, and they trade. They're sending their oil off through there and other products that they sell throughout the world as well through Karg Island. So we'd be cutting off their trade. And what do you think they're gonna do? One, they're gonna fight tooth and nail for Karg Island, and we're still gonna take it. But then what happens after that? Because if we don't decimate their missile capability, they're going to start attacking energy infrastructure in the region, because that's going to be the only way they can possibly get us to back off.
For that uranium. I mean, that mission, though, to go in there and get that, I mean, that is a dangerous mission.
Well, taking Maduro out of his snuggie at 2 a.m. was pretty dangerous too. This military is pretty damn impressive. But realize, you know, you've got this. This is so much more what Iran represents to the veterans of the global war on terror. These scumbags killed our friends. There are so many families out there, Gold Star families, that are looking around, and this is personal. This is personal.
Kamala Harris.
Here's the thing, though, and I get it. They've killed our soldiers. We've killed their soldiers. But if that's what it's going to be like, then I'm going to be real with you. Like, there was no point in even talking to these guys, and we should just destroy them if that's the case. What's the point of feigning all this diplomacy if it's always going to be, well, they did this, and we can never trust them, and they're just a bunch of evil-ass people? And I'm just like, all right, then. Well, what are we doing even negotiating with them then? Like, what's the point? And I'm going to be real with you. If this is going to be the mindset of the American people, we're always going to be in forever wars, sadly.
Kids that grew up hearing the stories, all these kids that are now, you know, in this military,
yeah, we gotta get
and they grew up hearing the stories of Baghdad and all the hero stories of the Rangers and the SEALs. They have a chance right now to be a part of this chapter in the warrior ethos, and they can avenge those that we lost. This is very special. Obviously, we're going to pray and think about them, but at the same time, if you're out there and you get this mission, God bless you and kick their ass.
You know, you're more in touch with the military than I am. How are the soldiers, seamen, airmen, how are they feeling right now, kind of on the eve of what potentially could be a final?
You know, I prefer us not to be in this, but I mean, if we are, man, shit, I want us to win. I don't like that we're in it, but hey, we're in it. And if we're putting boots on the ground, I mean, of course I want us to win, but I mean, like, bruh, I'm gonna be pissed off because, like, what? Now it went from no boots on the ground to possible boots on the ground to this man finally admitting that, well, if you want to take care of the nuclear capabilities, we're gonna need boots on the ground. I mean, yeah, duh, but that's what everybody been trying to tell us that we don't need to do.
Low.
I'll tell you what, the morale it's a lot better than the Iranian Revolutionary Guard right now, because I'll tell you, every leader in that group, those soldiers haven't been paid.
Yeah.
And so now they're looking at every one of their officers thinking, are you Mossad? Are you CIA? How did you not get blown up? If you, the last thing you told the Ayatollah was, I'm going to go get a Mountain Dew, I'll be right back, and the building blows up, you might tend to think maybe you're in on it. Everyone's turning on these leaders, and you look at our military, and we're rock steady, we're ready to go. Morale is through the roof. This is a great time to be an American soldier.
It sure is. A lot of people looking over their shoulders, I'm sure, in the guard over there in Tehran. No bueno. That's why they should just lay down their arms, as we've told them. David, thank you.
But all right, though, let's get right into this. Like I said, that's why a lot of people are a bit confused. But we destroyed all of their missiles, basically. They're down to very few percent. They only have 6% of their missile launchers. And then while doing this as well.
Have been activated across Israel in the early Sirens have been activated across Israel in the early hours of Friday morning. Israel's air defense systems intercepted several missiles over the southern and central region. The military said the cluster of missiles were launched from Iran. This comes after a man was killed in a rocket attack in northern Israel on Wednesday. Nida Ibrahim is following developments in Israel from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Nida, can you just talk us through the latest Iranian strikes on Israel and the overall impact that the war is having?
Well, while they were relatively lower in terms of intensity of these Iranian-fired missiles into Israel, Hezbollah has kept the pressure on the northern Israeli front, where we've seen on Thursday one person had been killed as a result, as well as raising so many questions about the validity of the Israeli army's strategy in southern Lebanon. Since the beginning of this battle, this round of fighting between Hezbollah and Israel, the Israeli defense minister has kept saying that they want to push for this security buffer zone. They want to call up more reservists. They want to control and occupy areas in southern Lebanon. Of course, that changes. Sometimes they say it's southern Litani River. Other times they say it's even further north, taking up as much as potentially 15% of Lebanese soil. This did not land well with everyone in Israel. Some military analysts have been saying that while Israel is facing a very intensive war with Iran, very major front, still under bombardment and sending millions of Israelis.
Yeah, and Iran has not stopped using those cluster missiles, by the way. Yeah, they're still going on with the cluster missiles. So they're still using, well, I'm gonna be real with you. Apparently, they haven't even pulled out the most advanced stuff yet. I'm pretty sure most of their advanced missiles, like their hypersonic missiles and all that good stuff, yeah, those are most likely pointed towards, well, energy infrastructure, just in case. But if we can go ahead and stop that, that'd be great. But like I said, like we're saying that, oh, we're stopping them, like we're decimating their military capability, but here they are fighting into Israel and once again threatening all states in that Gulf region, well, all countries in the Gulf region.
Shelters, lives disrupted. But also at the same time, they are pushing for more ground invasion that could potentially be costly to the Israeli army without achieving certain goals, which are ending or disarming of Hezbollah. And that's something even Israeli defense officials have said it won't be achieved through a ground invasion alone, but through an agreement with the Lebanese government that does not seem to be going anywhere at the moment. This debate, this internal struggle cannot be seen outside of the fact that it's an election year. Let's listen in to one of the key figures of opposition in Israel and what he had to say about that.
The IDF is stretched to the limit and beyond. The government is leaving the army wounded out on the battlefield. The government is sending the army into a multi-front war without a strategy, without the necessary means, and with far too few soldiers.
So this cannot, again, be seen outside of the fact that it's an election year. Everyone's trying to score points. But it's important to note that while there is a very high support for this war inside Israel, more than 80%, according to recent polls, support and agree with this war, we cannot say that everyone is exactly happy with the strategy, with the way it's being carried out, with the fact that...
Basically, the Israelis don't like being forced in a shelter almost every night because of the missiles being fired at them. So of course, but 80% of them do want this war because I'm gonna be real with you, Iran, they're an imminent threat to Israel, not America, but Israel. So I can understand why they would want Iran. I can understand why they're going to go balls to the wall when it comes to taking out Iran. I understand them because, like I said, Iran is truly an imminent threat. Their missiles could reach them and all that good stuff. Oh, and all their proxies are aimed at pretty much stopping Israeli expansion. So yes, Israel wants to get rid of Iran because Iran is standing in Israel's way of doing a lot of things. I mean, one, destabilizing Iran, and two, destabilizing the region, and three, stopping them from their greater Israel project.
We're approaching the 1 month point of this war without achieving key goals when it comes to changing the regime in Iran, which is something that the Israeli prime minister has promised to do, but then backtracked on it when it comes to diminishing the Iranian threat altogether, as well as disarming Hezbollah. All of this is being weighed in Israel as we are approaching, as we've been saying, the 1 month point of the war.
All right, that's Nida Ibrahim, live for us from Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. Thanks so much, Nida.
All right, guys, go ahead, get over to the next video over here. See, Trump, let's see here. Trump weighing invading several Iranian islands. Several? All right, let's get right into it. Oh, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Appreciate the support. And if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, you can go ahead and super chat that in. I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. Let's keep it going.
President Trump is weighing several options that could result in heavy U.S. casualties. It's a heavy sentence to say, but that's the reality. And according to Axios, on top of invading Kharg Island, a move that Trump, of course, we've pointed out, has talked about since 1988, the Pentagon is also drawing up scenarios that involve military action on several other Iranian islands. Those islands key to Iran's oil production, as well as control over the Strait of Hormuz itself. Axios is now reporting specifically on some other possible invasions. And I know Seth had spent time talking about 2 other islands closer to the Strait of Hormuz and also seizing the Iranian ships that are carrying Iranian oil, even as they've taken away the sanctions that would allow Iran to sell that oil. But, being contradictory doesn't stop them. Does it sound to you that we're on the verge of a potentially dramatic escalation?
It does, Aaron. Now, it doesn't mean...
Wow, this part about this war right now is the fact that we unsanctioned Russian and Iranian oil. So these guys are making money. And also, while Iran is charging a $2 million fee to go through the Strait of Hormuz, which is wild, by the way.
That it's going to happen, but the likelihood has increased that it will happen. And what we're looking at is the increase in the force posture by the U.S. forces. The fact that not only do we have about 50,000 troops in the region right now, but we are also getting more. We're getting more airplanes, more Air Force squadrons are coming in, fighter squadrons are coming in. We have, of course, the 2 MEUs that are, one is basically there already and the other one is approaching. And then you also have, of course, the 82nd Airborne. So all of those elements are critical elements for America's firepower in general, and they don't make deployments like this just to have an exercise. This is a demonstration of force that could easily be used for actual combat operations.
And every time so far that Trump has done that in this situation, frankly, even with Venezuela, he's used it. I mean, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's the trend. Seth,
if we go along with the pattern of how Trump operates, I mean, shoot, he's going to say you got this many days. He says what? You got 10 days. He's going to pull up on like the 3rd or the 5th, talk about, oh, too late. You took too long. You really should have did it on the first day, but you was playing around.
And we talk about Abu Musa and 2 other smaller islands. You had talked about those. Axios is now reporting that he is indeed looking at.
But no, if this goes on to, how Trump usually acts, we're probably going to bomb them before April 6th. And then, I mean, 2, be honest with you, we're not moving those forces in the region just for show or to display power. We're actually going to use it.
Those, and you had already said that was possibly a very likely option because they're in the strait as opposed to hundreds of miles north of the strait, which is where Kharg Island lies. So if Abu Musa is the target, then what does that look like?
Well, I think, Aaron, we've already seen partially what it looks like because what we've seen is U.S. aircraft striking a range of different targets on Abu Musa and several of those islands there. What that means is they're trying to target any air defense systems on there, stockpiles of weapons, any bunkers, communications centers, where if they do end up landing forces there, they're trying to limit the resistance that is faced. One thing that we have not seen a lot of is the bombing of those of airstrips in case they wanted to land aircraft,
like those runways,
C-130 or
yep.
C-17. So that all suggests the possibility of amphibious landings to seize those islands, which could be used both for defensive purposes if there were incoming strikes to target the any transits of the Strait of Hormuz, and offensive operations into Iran itself for strikes.
And I know that, Colonel Layton, you said that the amount of warning time that troops on those islands would have from a missile from Iran could be as little as 10 seconds.
That's right,
so,
depending on where the missile is and what type of missile.
Which fits with what we're hearing the Pentagon is saying, that the scenarios they're looking at involve a very high level of potential casualties. A sobering moment, especially given some of the childish rhetoric that gets thrown around, right? We're talking about human lives. Trump reportedly considering an invasion of Larak Island, which lies in the narrowest part of the Strait of Hormuz and is key to Iran's control of the strait, part of the area that's now called Tehran's toll booth. The island is 49 square miles, very small, but it does host bunkers, attack craft that can blow up cargo ships, and radar technology that tracks activity in the strait. All of this Iranian military. Colonel Cedric Layton is back with us at the Magic Wall. So, Colonel Layton, we've talked a lot about Karg. I know Seth's talked about Abu Musa, but Larak is also important. We've got it highlighted here. What would an invasion of Larak look like, especially in the
guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen and like that video, guys. Let's go ahead and get that engagement up. Let's go ahead and get more reach out there. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's get right back into it.
Of what is already in the region and what Trump has coming in.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. So just to orient people right here, this is where Larak is, right here at the mouth, basically, of the Strait of Hormuz if you're coming out this way. Abu Musa is here, and Karg Island is right up here in the northern part of the Gulf. So when you look at Larak specifically, it is right in this area right here where they have the area right here where you could really cut off anything that's going through the strait. So this is a critical military target, or at least potentially a critical military target. And one of the key things is, how would you actually go about doing this? Well, you would bring in the Marine Expeditionary Units. This is the kind of thing that they do. They can...
Hold on, guys. Something just came out here. Let's see here. It came out about 15 minutes ago. U.S., Iran using new pressure card with energy threats. All right, let's see what they're talking about here.
In Qatar have been discussing ways to support and develop defense and security collaboration. Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister met with the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, in Washington, D.C. Both sides said they were emphasizing the importance of continuing coordination and joint consultation to contribute to strengthening regional and international security and stability. Well, joining us from Doha is Zaidun Al-Khanani. He's the founding director of the Arab Perspectives Institute. Very good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. Let's go back to the stories we're coming at the top of the show. Donald Trump says Iran is begging for a deal. Is it?
Well, it's a war of words. We can't deny that the private talks and the private negotiations have always been there, despite the denial from the Iranian side, based on the evidence that took place for the past 2 days, where there was a confirmation of the Pakistani mediation of handling such talks, and that is expected given the scale and the...
So apparently Pakistan is trying to get some type of talks between the U.S. and Iran, and it's actually looking like it's pretty successful. So it's looking like Pakistan's the reason why, well, we're even coming to the table when it comes to, well, or not really us, but really Iran is coming to the table when it comes to negotiating. So, yeah, according to this guy, which, well, let's see here, Arab Perspective Institute. Yeah, according to him, yeah, they are in talks. And the people who are mediating it is the Pakistanis.
Evidence that took place for the past 2 days, where there was a confirmation of the Pakistani mediation of handling such talks, and that is expected given the scale and the level of this war. What's really interesting is noticing that there are different and new pressure cards that have erupted from this war. Now, if we were to look at the list of proposals or the conditions that Trump were trying to impose upon Iran, none of these points are new. They've always existed prior to the war. The Iranian government have always been in negotiations either with the US or with the West and discussing them. There might be the vague point about the proxy network, where Iran has been able to claim and sometimes not to claim affiliation based on their contextual interest, whatever happens in Lebanon or in Iran. But two new pressure cards that both sides have been able to implement or discover that they were able to get out of this war is the Hormuz Strait from the Iranian side and a new card that has been established by Trump's administration in parallel or in a way to counter the Iranian privilege of using the Strait of Hormuz as a political leverage in the economic situation or in the economic conversation in the world, and that is attacking the power plant. It's a new card that Trump is trying to use strategically, politically, but also militarily in the war.
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit more about that, because we saw initially that Donald Trump was the one essentially that brought the Strait of Hormuz into play in this. Iran, we always knew that Iran had that as leverage, and in the past has said that it threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, but it was Donald Trump bringing ships towards the region that kind of, to some degree, is said to have forced Iran's hand in that, or forced it to use that leverage. At the same time, we now have Donald Trump saying, no, we're going to hit the power plants, and that is where we're going to be focusing on now. What's your assessment of the way that Donald Trump is, first of all, using the Strait of Hormuz, but then immediately switching to the power plants, but telegraphing to Iran that this is what his intention is?
Well, it's a reflection of an ability to have the upper hand and the symbolic power to threaten an enemy that they are able to dismantle not just the political system, but also the infrastructure. A country mostly relies on its resources, whether that's electricity, water, oil, energy, and it also makes it a very alarming issue for the region beyond and the world. We've seen what has happened to the oil and the fuel prices, to the global economy, including the United States itself. So bringing
God forbid they start attacking the water desalination centers. Oh, it's really going to get bad. Like, people are going to run out of clean water. Drinking water, water to bathe with, is going to be bad out there in the Middle East if they start attacking those centers. Now, energy infrastructure, blackouts across the Middle East, that's one thing. I mean, that sucks. But man, no water. Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to be like terrible. All right, let's get back. Well, that, and they can also, cut internet cables off, and that also be bad.
That conversation, shedding light into the U.S. ability and the U.S. preparedness to further dismantle and further destroy whatever energy infrastructure that exists within the Iranian regime, allowing the hope from an American military perspective and point of view that even if the war were to end today or in a week or two, we have destroyed the Iranian regime and economy enough that it will make it weaker in the longer years and the following years if global economic sanctions were to continue, meaning that the Iranian regime post 28th of February would be much more weaker and less resilient than it was prior to February 28th.
The Gulf Cooperation Council now coming out and saying that the impact on Gulf countries is not just to do with oil and gas. Of course, that has been the greatest impact, the most obvious impact of this war that we've seen around the world. But they're also saying it's going to affect food. It's going to affect medicine as well. It's important to remember that when it comes to this...
bro, we need that petroleum to make fertilizer. And I mean, if fertilizer gets more expensive, then food's going to get more expensive. Like, this whole war is like one big inflationary trap at a certain point if we do not get out of it. If we don't get out of it in time, bro, we're going to get hit with wartime inflation, and nobody's going to want to deal with that.
Of Hormuz, we're not just talking about oil and gas and energy. We're talking about so many other things as well.
Of course, we're talking about the delivery of goods and essentials for societies in this region, but also so many other societies and countries that rely on the trading point around this part of the world. We've already seen the economic implications that this has translated to, globally speaking, but it also has two interesting points, which from a GCC point of view that goes beyond the energy aspect and point of view, is not just the energy, but it also discusses the militarized aspect, the national security of these countries, and also the humanitarian aspect. Now, from one point of view, the Iranian attacks and the US dragging the region into this war has allowed the GCC to face a military experience that is very new to it, turning it into being in the middle of a war that they did not choose to be a part of. In fact, they advocated against for it to happen to the United States in the weeks and months in the lead up to it. And then there's a humanitarian element where a lot of the attacks and the retaliatory attacks towards the so-called US bases in the region included civilian areas, civilian infrastructure, which disrupted the movement, the business, but also the security of ordinary innocent residents and citizens across the region.
Jesus.
Zaydin
That's
Al-Kanani, we
Kuwait?
appreciate, as always, you giving us that breakdown. Thank
Hey,
you.
yo, they put a complete hole inside of Kuwait. Oh my God. Man, praying for those people in Lebanon. I mean, which 1 million people has already been displaced already, but you know, people don't tell you that for some reason. But all righty, guys, let's go ahead and get on to reacting to PBD. I do want to react to some of his clips. And then, you know, we'll probably close out after. I said I was going to do a quick one. All right, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. And if you want me to go longer, I mean, shoot, you could just super chat in, you know, with any question, comment, joke, or disagreement. Appreciate the support. Or you can just keep on showing engagement and double tapping that screen. All right, let's keep going.
This is one of the Iranian officials listing their demands for a ceasefire.
This is when?
This was earlier this week, I believe Monday or Tuesday.
Go ahead.
Until all our damages are recovered, until all economic sanctions are lifted, and until we obtain an international legal guarantee against against America's interference in Iran's affairs, this war will continue. And I'll explain why such a decision has been made by our nation, our leader, and our armed forces. I will state in the interview that whether our conflict with America is just a 12-day war and a Ramadan war, or rather a 47-year saga that we must bring to an end right here and now.
Okay, so that's that on what he's saying. Similar request to what I just read. Okay, MBS comes out. I have the comments here where he says he fears if Trump retreats now, Saudi Arabia and the rest of the region will be left to face angry Iran. I think he told us to, is this the interview wrap or?
I'm looking for the clip.
Yeah.
I found this clip. I'm not sure.
I mean, yeah, bro. If Trump was to leave right now, I ain't gonna lie, and leave them controlling the Strait of Hormuz, yeah, they'd be at the mercy of Iran and Iran's aggression. And these guys cannot aggress back against Iran. I mean, let's be real. Saudi Arabia got a little bit of nuclear protection by, you know, I would say signing that little nuclear protection deal with Pakistan. So, I mean, they're cool on that end, but I don't think Pakistan is really going to honestly save them if it comes to Iran just striking these guys. I'm not sure if that's going to come with that. I don't think that comes with the deal. I think they're just there to, you know, be deterred. I think the alliance is there to deter any type of nuclear threat going towards Saudi Arabia with the threat of, well, if you hit us, Pakistan will hit you.
Sure if it's him, though.
Yeah, angry Iran. He told us to New York Times. Then yesterday, when the president is being interviewed, they asked the president. I don't know if you saw that clip, Rob. They're asking him, hey, I just texted it to you, Rob. I'm sorry, I texted it to myself. Reporter asks the president, is MBS encouraging you to do certain things related to Iran? And here's what the president had to say. Go forward.
Saudi Arabia. What do you hear with Saudi Arabia?
Just hearing that you've been talking and that he has been encouraging you to do certain things related to Iran. Can you share?
Well, he's a warrior. He does. Yeah, he's a warrior. He's fighting with us, by the way. Saudi Arabia has been excellent, and UAE excellent, and I will tell you, Qatar incredible. Saudi Arabia. What do you hear with Saudi?
Yeah. So there you have it. So he's responded the way he is. And Rob, I don't know if there was an interview with him or not. It was just like a face-to-face interview. Yeah, Barry, you make a good point because, you know, when you think about this, is he putting out the 15 points to give a little bit more time because he got an update that USS Tripoli needs 4 more days, needs 5 more days? Because I got a quote here, very weird quote. And I don't know if I like this quote, but let me read this quote to you from Netanyahu. Here's what Netanyahu just said, okay? Look what his quote is. Netanyahu just said, when asked, how long do you think this is going to last? He told Fox News, may take some time, but it's not going to take years. He vowed to keep striking Iran's enemies and help topple its regime after missile attacks he called Iran's behavior threatening the entire world. So there's 2 different problems. There's the Israel problem, there's the world problem, there's the America problem. The Israel problem is what? You just attacked these guys. Guess what, Tom? With the Israel problem. They are furious with you right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Israel problem is, well, these guys want regime change and they don't want us to have any type of deal with Iran. That's the whole reason why they attacked Iran after our last rounds of negotiations, because they don't want us to have any type of off-ramp to this war. They want to keep us in it because they see us as the only way to destabilize Iran, because they know damn well they can't do it themselves. Like I said, Iran is an imminent threat to Israel, not the U.S., but Israel.
They're not happy with you, with what you have going on. And Israel has to sit there and say, dude, if we don't finish this off right now, you think they're going to let this go? They're going to come back and take us out? Then you have a world problem. Did this even make the world a safer place? Did it make Gulf states feel better? Did it make them feel more comfortable? Are Europeans and NATO allies feeling more comfortable about this? Then the last one is what? Trump, the president. How is this sitting in America? How is America reacting to this? Is America sitting there because we just had a Democrat that won in Palm Beach? Is it Palm Beach? Emily, I don't know what her last name is.
Emily Gregory.
Emily Gregory, who just won in Palm Beach, and Democrat flips Florida State House district that includes Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that's his house. So what are they saying? Tom, you made a good point earlier that
Trump district is now ran by a Democrat because they won the special election. Let's hopefully that changes after the actual election comes up in November. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. But yeah, like right now, Democrats, they're kind of sweeping us in all special elections. And like I said, you know what? It's not because Trump voters are just going to start voting Democrat. No, they're just not going to have the will to vote no more. You're going to kind of take the you're going to take the enthusiasm out of MAGA, and that's what's going to happen. That's why we're having bad voter turnout. It's not because we were voting for Dems. It's because no, y'all just played us on the whole MAGA initiative, and now we don't want to vote for you guys. And we don't want to vote for the Dems, so we're just not going to vote at all. And that's what it is. Y'all having bad voter turnout because, well, promises have not been kept. Actually, a major promise has been broken. And I know MAGA don't want to address it. I know a lot of my guys don't want to address it. But if it's not addressed, yeah, it's going to be, I'm not going to say a blue wave, but they're going to gain some seats. And they most likely will take the House. Not so sure about the Senate, but anything's possible, especially if we keep going down this road.
You know, we've talked about this for the last 4 or 5 years. If there's one thing we've been consistent about, don't worry about Democrats and Republicans. Who runs America is independents, okay? That's who runs American elections. If independents are kind of going like this, you know, it's like, hey, just wanted to show we're not fully with this, okay? Your base may be with you, this may be with you, but us independents, we're kind of leaning this way. Do you see that pattern kind of happening, Tom?
Yeah, this is a flip of a district. This was a Republican, this was a GOP district. And now Gregory has won it, the special election. And so now you look at it and say, okay, what does this say?
Like a couple hundred votes, by the way. And the Boca guy won by like 13, 14 votes.
Right. And then under audit, it went down to 3 votes and even 1 vote in Boca. So that was debated back and forth right on the edge of a knife. So what this says is that the independents in Florida are basically not saying, hey, overnight I became liberal. But what they're saying is, I don't like what's going on, and this is the way I'm leaning. And it doesn't take much to move that, especially in the lavender districts. Miami, Broward County is blue. Miami is blue, but lighter blue than it's been, and it goes lavender certain times.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I just wanted to say the point that Pat made is very true. Is that the America problem is it has this issue by the way, there's just a canary in the coal mine for the midterm elections as well, and that's the bigger issue that has to be contemplated. So, you know, the public opinion right now does not favor what's going on for the most part. Maybe they're looking at it short term. Maybe they're feeling what's going on with gasoline prices, and they just don't have a distaste for it. I don't know if they're thinking about the bigger picture, like you had mentioned. This is an opportunity for a bigger picture here, but it has to be balanced as far as, you know, what are you willing to sacrifice for? It's a really tough situation to be in.
There's not really a narrative either. Like normally you have a narrative behind a war of like, oh, we have to do this because of this reason, like 9/11, there, you know, it was revenge. Sometimes there's an imminent threat, but they don't really have like a narrative to capture that tolerance. So I think that's part of it too.
Got it. Rob, what is this?
This is
shoot, if they were able to prove that Iran was actually moving towards a nuclear weapon, like we know they got the 90% enrichment. We see traces of them making it, like I said, turning from the liquid to powder to metal and all that good stuff. Yeah, we can see all that. Like, we'd catch Iran making a bomb by week 1, and they'll still be about a month or 2 out. So yeah, if there was proof that they were doing that, then everybody would be all in on this. But there is none. So that's why a lot of people are really skeptical.
Yesterday in the Oval Office, he talks about receiving a gift from Iran, and it shows that the United States is now dealing with the right people in the regime.
Let's hear it.
Make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related. And it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone. As the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum, racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out. And the present, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it, and it happened. And they're the only ones that could have done it.
So much fog of war right now. Like, you're hearing everything to sit there and say, what is really going on? What is really being said? Is politics being played?
Yeah.
Who's he talking to? Is it games? Is it not games? Or is the other side sitting and saying, what the hell is he talking about? We didn't give you anything. There's so much that's going on right now.
But Pat, you think about it, wouldn't that be like?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's fair to have that speculation of just being like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like, Trump says one thing, Iran says another. Trump said we got 8 boats through the Strait of Hormuz because Iran was being nice guys, apparently. But now Iran's saying, no, we ain't do none of that. So what in God's name is going on? Like PBD says, the fog of war is just crazy. Because of, like, bro, especially when two sides are saying conflicting things, and it's always one side saying that the other side's doing this, and always the other side saying that one side's doing that. And at a certain point, nobody really knows what's the truth until, well, any verifiable source can prove the other side wrong or right.
Perfect scenario for the U.S. if the regime in kind of like save face is there, but those who are in charge of the regime are not as radical. I don't know if that's a possible.
Oh,
but that
no
could,
way.
Yeah.
No. Let me. Okay, so let me ask you, how long, if you spend 10 years with Lucky Luciano, okay?
Okay, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get those likes up. Let's get more people on the conversation. Let's push the channel. Let's get out of this shadow ban. All right, guys, and you can do that by double tapping that screen or smashing the like button if you're watching horizontal.
How long do you need to spend every second of the day with Lucky to become like Lucky? How long? What do you think the timeline is? How long do you need to spend with the cartel from Mexico? Give me one of the heavyweights cartels of Mexico. Name any one of them.
El Chapo.
How long do I need to spend with El Chapo to become El Chapo? How long do I need to spend with the Mansons? How long do I need to spend with these guys to become them? What do you think that timeline is?
Not long.
What do you think that? Honestly, it's a very good question, because how long do you think that is? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years?
Not long.
No, not long at all. We have a case study.
What would you say? What would you say it is?
I think 1,000 hours.
You think it's 1,000 hours?
Be just
I
like
think it's. I
all right.
If you're going into it,
PBD once again, sometimes veering off the conversation to talk about nonsense sometimes, but we love him. We love PBD here, friend of the show. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into our guy, Jimmy Dore. New York Times admit Iran protests were engineered by Mossad, which I've been saying since day one, but hey, let's get into it.
Their stated plan was to cause an uprising in Iran, which would lead to the toppling of their government. Then all Israel and the United States will have to do at that point is to assassinate a few of the Iranian beloved leaders.
And so crazy, as duplicitous as this is, I low-key wished it worked. I wanted it to work. I'm be real with you. I wouldn't even be here if that would have fucking worked. But It is what it is. And I'm be real with you. Let's be real. I mean, they should have known that wasn't going to work, but they've been lying about the demographics in Iran or the support for the government in Iran for years. So, hey, they probably was going off that type of intel, thinking that they can get some type of revolution going. And all they did was, well, I ain't gonna lie. Iran, like, look, these are the reported numbers. Reported numbers that Iran killed about 5. They say 3,000, but a lot of people are saying about 5 to 6,000, and that's like what's verifiable. This is what's coming from verifiable sources. Now, what's not coming from verifiable sources is the 30 to 40,000 plus. Yeah, no verifiable sources has been able to sit there and prove that 30,000 Iranians were killed, but there are sources to prove that 3,000 were killed. So, well, 3,000 plus were killed, but not 30,000.
Then boom, they can install a Zionist-friendly Iranian government.
It's a good example of just exactly how war propaganda works and how the media plays along and how the government is always constantly lying to you. And remember they were telling you about, their people are protesting against their oppressive government in Iran. And then Iran, for no reason, just starts slaughtering their protesters.
Yeah, like, you know what? I got it for you right here. Okay, guys. Shout out to our guys over there at ChatGPT, but it's right here. All right. So some reports estimate that up to around 30,000 people were killed during the January protests in Iran, but this figure is not fully verified. The official Iranian count was just over 3,000 deaths. Excuse me, while independent groups and leaked hospital data suggest it could be significantly higher. Not 30,000 higher, but what I've been seeing is about about that 3,000 all the way out to 6,000 higher. Now, there's a large range and the exact number remains unclear due to communication blackouts and limited verification. In short, there is evidence of a high death toll, because I'm be real, 3,000 is a high death toll. I mean, shit. But the exact number cannot be fully confirmed. I mean, look, if you know more than PBS, if you got more than them, Wikipedia, the Iranian massacre is crazy. Hold on. What? Hold on. Yeah, the 2026 Iran massacre is what they're calling is where 3,000. Yeah, that's a massacre. I ain't gonna lie. That's effed up. And let's see. Well, not by China standards, apparently. Let's see here. Disappeared bodies, mass burials, around 30,000 dead. What is the truth of Iran's and even the Guardian says it too. It's not verified. So you can go to anywhere when it comes to, actually, these are the main perpetrators right here. Iran International. These are the only guys saying that they have some type of what? I'm trying to remember. Here it is. Obtain classified documents and field reports account from medical staff, witness, and victims' families. Yeah. Now, they have not they have not posted these classified documents at all, nor have they given the field reports or anything like that to where we can get these 30,000 names plus. So, like I said, it's not verifiable. I know as much as you want to believe it and all that good stuff, which I don't know why you'd want to believe that, but it's not true. As far as we can verify right now, as far as things go, no. All right, let's get back to it.
Remember they were telling you about, their people are protesting against their oppressive government in Iran. And then Iran, for no reason, just starts slaughtering their protesters. There's such horrible, horrible, horrible people in Iran. We have to free their people. Well, those protests, as I've told you before, were engineered by the United
and those protests too. The protesters, right? They were shooting at the police. So here's the thing, though. If they weren't peaceful protests, yes, like they weren't. They didn't. There were peaceful protesters in there, like yelling about, the government sucks. They let inflation get out of control and all that good stuff. But there were people in there that was given guns by the Mossad and CIA who was out there shooting at police. And this is where police start shooting into these crowds and all this. And this is where the deaths start getting in there, or the death toll start going up. And I believe, honestly, what was it? Out of those 3,000 dead, I believe 400 or 500 of them were police officers. So, yeah. And here's the thing, like I said, it's bad enough 3,000 dead died. But what kills me is that we kind of told these people that we'll have their back, and we didn't. And we let them go hard thinking that we were going to have their back. And look what they got out of it.
People. Well, those protests, as I've told you before, were engineered by the United States. They were engineered by the Mossad and the United States. So what the United States did first was they put these horrible, crippling economic sanctions on Iran, meaning nobody could do business with Iran, and they also collapsed their currency, their dollar. So their banks started to fail, their currency fell and they couldn't have any kind of an economy. So people came out to protest. We have to do something about this. And then the Mossad went and the Mossad was the one giving people guns.
Yep.
And they started shooting cops and they started burning down mosques and that was all from the Mossad and the United States. So the United States so that was all.
Yeah, and like everybody started calling out how funny the protests were looking. One, when they start burning down civilian buildings and start burning down cars, and it's just like, hold on, why are you burning cars that citizens use that could be a person that don't even support the Ayatollah? But you're over here burning their car, you're burning buildings, you're burning mosques, and I'm just like, hold on now. It's like now you're doing too much, and this is seeming a bit like manufactured.
Made up. And so the reason why the Iran government started shooting protesters is because the protesters were infiltrated by the Mossad, given guns, weapons, and satellites to coordinate, and they were burning down the city, burning down police departments, mosques, and they were killing cops. That's why that happened. That never got reported here in the United States, but now the New York Times is going to admit it now that it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Now that it doesn't matter, the New York Times is going to tell you the truth about this. You ready? The New York Times has essentially confirmed that Israel played a role in stimulating the violent regime change riots that left around 3,000 dead. They'll tell you 80.
Let me see if I can read some of this in the back, because it is a bit wild. Like, instead, Mossad's strategy during the period was to try to weaken the government until it essentially surrendered to Israel and American demands, using a combination of crippling economic sanctions, which Scott Besson admits to employing, and operations to assassinate Iranian nuclear scientists and military leaders and sabotage nuclear facilities. Man, damn, it was going all out. All right, over the past years, as the prospects of Israeli military actions against Iran become more likely, Mr. Brenda reserved Mossad's approach. Let's see here, devoting the agency's resources to plans that could lead to topple the government in Tehran in the event of a war. Huh. Well, man, they trying their ass off.
They just make up numbers. They would say, oh, Iran killed 80,000. They would say 30,000, then they'd say 70. They just make up a number. But the real number is around 3,000 dead.
Literally, like I said, I was just like, bro, it was from 30,000 to 40,000. People was even saying 100,000. I was like, all right, man. That's why I had to go look this ish up. And I'm just like, look, I'll go ahead and read it out again for you guys. But yes, some reports estimate that up to around 30,000 people were killed during the January protests in Iran, but this figure is not fully verified. The official Iranian count was just over 3,000 deaths, while independent rights groups and leaked hospital data suggest it could be significantly higher. There's a large range. This is why I said it's probably from 3,000 to 6,000. But yeah, there's a large range, and the exact number remains unclear due to communication blackouts and limited verification. In short, there's evidence of a high death toll, because 3,000 is a high death toll, but the exact number cannot be fully verified. So yeah. And I was asking, I was like, so there's no way to confirm it? He's like, yeah, while there are I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, while there are varying assessments from different groups, the numbers from inside Iran, such as official figures, are much lower than what external sources claim. Key thing, external sources, aka not inside Iran, but telling you how much people died in Iran. I know, right? Without independent verification, the exact scale is hard to pin down. So yes, nothing is fully confirmed at that scale. So no, let's be real. It's more of like a to be continued type of ordeal. Let's not jump to conclusions here.
In Iran this January 8th and 9th, but which were marked in the West as pro-democracy protests. So here's what he's talking about. Israel thought it could spur rebellion inside Iran. That hasn't happened. This is from March 22nd. So now just like Jon Stewart in my last segment, now that it doesn't matter and it's safe to tell you this, the New York Times is going to tell you the truth. Back then they wouldn't. Now they will. And here's what President Trump hopes that an Israeli plan to ignite an internal uprising against Iran's theocratic government could bring the war to a swift end, have so far been dashed.
Yeah, at least they honest now.
Instead, Mossad's strategy during the period was to try to weaken the government until it essentially surrendered to Israeli and American demands, using a combination of crippling economic sanctions and operations to assassinate Iranian nuclear scientists and military leaders and sabotage nuclear facilities. Over the past year, it sounds like a full-on escalation of war from Israel and the United States against Iran before the actual hot war even started. Over the past year, as the prospects of Israeli military action against Iran became more likely, Mr. Barnea, and Mr. Barnea is the guy named David Barnea.
Yeah, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Let's get more people on the conversation by double tapping that screen and liking the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, guys, let's keep it going.
He's the current head of Mossad. So the head of Mossad, Mr. Barnea, reversed Mossad's approach, devoting the agency's resources to plans that could lead to toppling the government in Tehran in the event of a war. In recent months, according to officials, Mr. Barnea came to believe that Mossad could potentially begin igniting riots around Iran after several days of intense Israeli and American airstrikes and the assassination of senior Iranian leaders. So that's their plan. That's always been the plan. That's how they do it. And then they arm people inside Iran and say, go start being terrorists against your government and your people around you. It was well understood by the Mossad that those riots would help stimulate military action by Trump. So when Trump sees, oh, look, so they tell Trump, and whatever Trump is told is what he thinks. So they go, so Netanyahu and his son-in-law, Kushner, and they go, well, hey, look, the Mossad is going to, these riots that the Mossad has instigated, it's going to, see, we could overthrow the government. All we need to do is do a little military action. We got these people. They'll rise up. And so Trump goes, sure. That's what Max is saying. Israeli intel merely needed to convince the feeble-minded president that a wave of decapitation strikes would unleash a massive upheaval to immediately topple the Islamic Republic. The January riots were presented to...
So, guys, when they said it was the Iranian people actually going against their people, no, it was a bunch of armed people who were against the government, but they got guns from the Mossad and they started shooting at the police. And I'm be real with you, they put the protesters who were peacefully protesting in danger. So it is kind of effed up. Like I said, everybody was trying to deny this. Everybody was trying to say, oh, it's always about Israel with you guys. But no, guys, when it comes to Iran, Israel's just that crazy about toppling them. Y'all got to understand. Like, Israel has a real thirst, a real bloodthirst to see Iran fall.
Trump as a preview of what was to come. And, of course, Trump believed it because he doesn't know anything. Western media, including the New York Times and The Guardian, played a central role in legitimizing Israel's deception by falsely characterizing the violent regime change riots as mere protests. Massively inflating the death toll. Like I told you, they were saying, oh, they killed 80,000 of their own. So they massively inflated the death toll and covering up the fact that many were murdered by the Israeli-backed rioters themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It turned out to a full-out gunfight between the guys who got armed by the Mossad and Mossad themselves and the police. And then the protesters in the middle, because like I said, bro, these guys, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The Mossad guys and the protesters who were giving guns, they were firing from behind the peaceful protesters. So pretty much hitting the police and hitting them, basically using them as human shields, by the way, while the Iranian police is trying to shoot these guys, and they're also shooting at the protesters who's also in between the fire coming from them. It's like effed up situation all around, to be quite honest. Effed up situation all around. Sick
The,
that we were
the
even
whole
involved.
of Western media and the
It's sick that the Mossad even like tried this, knowing damn well they were going to get protesters, innocent protesters involved.
Western human rights industrial complex deliberately misrepresented the real character of those riots. Even though when you came here to the Jimmy Dore show, we told you the truth about those riots. You can't get it from the New York Times. You can't get it from CNN, Fox, MSNBC. You ain't going to get it from the Washington Post. You have to come to places like this with a jagoff comedian hosting a show on YouTube.
Literally. It's like, bro, even I was calling this out at the beginning. Even I was going like, I'm not going to lie, I don't believe 30,000. And I mean, let's be real, like 30,000 in a couple of days? Like, bro, what did they do? Drop a bomb on them? So, no, it's really hard to believe 30,000 when to even get to those numbers, man. You got to damn near carpet bomb a place for that. But, hey, man, you know, people want to believe what they want to believe.
To get the truth. Or you could go to the Gray Zone. They're also on YouTube. The whole of Western media and the Western human rights industrial complex deliberately misrepresented the real character of those riots. But now that the war they helped to instigate is going badly for the United States and Israel, the same media is now free to reveal a few kernels of truth. Just like Jon Stewart is a wit gift, he could give you a few kernels of truth about the Syrian war. Frank Fu, or do you say Frank F. you? Come on, am I right? He says the New York Times confirmation matters. Why? Because it shifts the narrative from conspiracy theory to documented record.
Yep.
What's worth noting, the pattern of Western media covering covert destabilization as spontaneous protest isn't new. It goes back to at least the 2011 Libya coverage. Remember when they said it was the Arab Spring? That was all fake. That was all covert operations funded by the CIA and the Mossad. That's what that was. There was no organic Arab Spring.
Oh, yeah, and a lot of y'all watching for the first time. Hey, guys, do me a favor and follow me if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Kick, Rumble, X. Make sure you guys follow while you're watching. All right, guys, let's get back to it. And don't forget to like the video.
Just so you know. It goes back to at least 2011 Libya coverage. The counter argument would be, does Mossad involvement in fomenting unrest delegitimize the genuine grievances of Iranians who participated? Those two things can both be true simultaneously, which is the nuance that tends to get lost.
Yeah.
Here's our good friend.
That's what I'm saying. There could have actually there was actually people who was upset at the government because of the state of the economy. And here's a problem. I mean, those people who could have turned into the revolution that we want so bad to overthrow the regime, well, we just got them shot in the middle of the street due to our interference. And once again, how Western interference just bites us in the ass every goddamn time. Every time, but we just don't learn.
Nick Cruz, and he's got some thoughts on this, that now the New York Times is telling the truth. Let's listen.
The New York Times is finally admitting what we knew all along, that the Iranian protest was a Mossad operation in order to manufacture consent for war. The article claims that.
But couldn't the people actually just be fighting for their country? Said, could that actually be it? And as much as I'm making fun of it, yes, it could. But to be honest with you, if you were actually paying attention to Iran, you'd know that no, these protests weren't to overthrow the government or what they wasn't asking for regime change. No, these guys were talking about, yo, fix the economy, bro. Like my paycheck, bro. My finances. Yeah, they had terrible inflation. I mean, they are sanctioned to hell, and we just not only did we put more sanctions, but we also was trying to destroy their currency, which we did successfully, by the way. And when we put in sanctions and all this economic play on a country, I'm gonna be real with you, this hurts the people. And the people are going like, well, shit, you guys got to do something about it. And they were getting to that point where, look, you guys need to talk to America. And we don't give a fuck what you do. If we don't honestly let the Iranians cook, let them cook. We'd have got what we wanted. If we'd have just let them cook. But for some reason, we just had to go a step further and put bombs on the ground.
Benjamin Netanyahu is frustrated that the Mossad overstated their ability to create regime change and start uprisings in Iran. Their stated plan was to cause an uprising in Iran, which would lead to the toppling of their government. Then all Israel and the United States will have to do at that point is to assassinate a few of the Iranian beloved leaders, and then boom, they can install a Zionist-friendly Iranian government. Meanwhile, anyone who stated this obvious fact that the Iranian protest was a Mossad killer revolution attempt the entire time, they would accuse you of repeating Iranian propaganda. Whenever they
like Cornel West did.
Yep.
Accuse you of repeating the propaganda of their enemy, you might as well assume that you're right on target. But can we talk about the Zionist delusion that they had if they really believed that this plan would work? So their strategy was to infiltrate Iran, murder over 100 police officers, burn down dozens of mosques, and then assassinate their religious leader, essentially their version of their pope, and then expect the Iranian people to welcome them as liberators? Let's be clear, that is not what the ruling class expected to happen. They just simply wanted this war against Iran. And shame on anyone who was caught repeating the Mossad narrative about Iran executing their own people.
We covered it.
I mean, they did execute that wrestler, but video came out and reports came out that that wrestler hacked to death a police officer with a machete. That's what I said, hack. Like, the man literally did it with a machete.
You know, it's not only the media. It was also our good friend Cornel West, who just can't stop repeating establishment pro-war talking points. It's just amazing. But there it is. Great job, Nick Cruz. And so now you know the rest of the stories. The conspiracy theorists were right again. And who's telling you that the conspiracy theorists were right again? The New York Times. Of course, they're only 3 months late.
Yeah.
But there it is. So again, the difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy fact now is 3 months.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Before New York Times said this, bro, the leader, like, what was it? I think it was like an ex-leader of the Mossad, an ex-commander in the Mossad or agent in the Mossad. Like, they was literally saying how, yeah, we're actually proud of our operations that we're doing in Iran right now. Like, literally, like, bro, on Israeli TV, literally bragging about their operations in Iran. And then I think it was Mike Pompeo that says, what was it? Oh, the Mossad walks beside you in the streets of Tehran tonight. So literally just admitting to it. So yes, those guys who was just so blatant, they didn't care. Or they're just stupid enough to say it out loud. But yeah, they was telling us what was going on, like at the beginning of this. And a lot of people wanted to ignore it or just didn't see it. But yeah, this was a Mossad operation that failed. Which sucks, because I'm gonna be real with you. If it succeeded, we wouldn't be here, but it is what it is. I try to tell y'all.
Just 3 months. So it's getting even nearer. It's even a closer time frame now. So great job by Max Blumenthal. Great job by Nick Cruz. And if you want to hear my jokes about this, come see me in San Antonio, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas.
And all right, though, let's go get over here to PBD, though. Shout out to PBD.
We just got a report right now, 2 hours ago, from an insider, good friend, that Rangers said this Sunday they're being deployed, boots on the ground, going out this Sunday.
Yeah.
And they're calling their families, hey, this is what's going on. This is a Ranger. This is not somebody to, listen, we are getting deployed, and they're telling us here's where we're going. So if he's talking like this, that we're negotiating, but on the back end we're sending in, is he trying to deflect and confuse? Is that Trump's line of doing things? Because if he doesn't, and it comes back and it was a nuclear negotiation, and you just killed 50 of their family members, you thought they were angry? You just increased the temperature of anger to a whole different level that the world. So then the people that were, non-interventionists are going to come out and say, what? I told you shouldn't have gone in the first place. So he's in a very interesting place. But again, I voted for him to, in these situations, to trust the decisions he's making. Let's see what they're going to be doing. Because no matter how much we talk about, guess what we don't have? We don't have all the information. We don't have all the intel.
Oh, guys, do me a favor and like the video, guys, by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support. Let's get back into it.
On what they're going to be doing. Tom, Rob, did you find that clip?
I'm still looking.
Yeah, it's a clip from 2 days ago. where he says that. So if you do find it, let me know. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's a lot of smoke screens, but I think that's intentional. And I mean, if it's going to follow the patterns of what he's done in the past, it's something he's distraction, confuse people, and then boom, out of nowhere, something swift, fast, and super effective happens. Where I don't think the Tripoli is going to ultimately play a role in whatever happens, because everybody in the world's looking at it, watching it, saying, oh, okay, it's 3 days away now, it's 2 days away now, it's 1 day away now. So I think something different's going to happen aside from that. Maybe with Carg Island, but there's no way that we just make a deal with them now, because that would be a worse situation than we went into in the first place. So it's like what goes from a extremist hostile regime to a pissed off extremist hostile regime, with oil at a higher price and with all the infrastructure for oil halfway damaged. So you have to go all the way now. No half measures.
Tom.
Yeah. I hate it because, I like that Maduro was in and out. I like that I thought we had conducted a precision bombing up in the hills and had gotten to some nuclear facilities. And now there's a little part of me that's like, here we go again, weapons of mass destruction, except that now we can see a missile going 4,000 miles. We see one. And you can't have that, right? Now that you have a missile, it's like North Korea. When you have an ability to throw a missile this far, now you're just scared to death on what kind of a bomb can be on top of it. Now you have trouble.
Right.
And so I'm with it. We got to finish this up. We have to do it. We see the reports that the USS Tripoli is there. The USS Boxer, which we brought up on this podcast first, has left San Diego a week ago and is en route. It's still over.
All right, guys. I got to head out on this one. I do appreciate y'all for tuning in, guys. Make sure y'all double tap the screen, like the video on y'all way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We're going to go ahead and leave out from a word from our partner, my guys at Kalshi. If you want to go ahead and take advantage of this deal, when you trade 20, you get $20 back. And I'm going to go ahead and leave you, like I said, leave you with my guys from Kalshi. And you can use the promo code SET This is Set from SET Media, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Yo, this is Set with Set Media, man. I'm here to talk to you about our partner, Kalshi. Kalshi is the largest legal prediction market in the United States with over 1 million users. It's available in all 50 states. They are a real money market. People trading on what they think will happen. You can build a position and trade in and out of almost any prediction you think. Kalshi facilitates trade between people kind of like the stock market. There's no limiting your trades just because you're winning. Kalshi will pay you interest on your position. So if you make a long-term trade, you can earn a return even before the market is resolved. If you want to try out Kalshi, go ahead and give them a try, guys, at my link, kalshi.com/setmedia. Get $20 when you trade 20, so it's 20 for 20, guys. Once again, that's kalshi.com/setmedia. Go ahead and use my code SETmedia to get $20 when you trade 20. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Kalshi, because like I said, it is a trading market where you can put in your prediction and you can go ahead and earn interest on that. You can make money off the knowledge that you know, and if you put $20 in, you get $20 back. So all right, guys, make sure to go check out my guy at Kalshi, because you can get in on good trades like who will Trump nominate as Fed chair, will Ali Khamenei be outed as the supreme leader, and will the U.S. confirm that aliens exist before 2027. So if you want to get in on this action, once again, go ahead and go to my partners at Kalshi. Go ahead and use the link, or you can hit the QR code above and use SET Media to go ahead and get $20 when you trade 20. This is Set from SET Media, and shout out to Kalshi.